Hello, if you want to watch exclusive lemon content on What If Naruto, then go to my Boosty. The first link in the description here contains such hot stories for adults, such as What If Naruto was a daddy for Sarada, or Kushina and Mikoto vulgar Naruto mommies. Follow the link and enjoy. I'm waiting for you.
He was no stranger to uncomfortable situations, far from it, and the one he was in at that moment, although not even close to topping his list, could easily lead to a situation that would if he did not manage it properly. What was this new challenge? They will wonder. He was meeting with foreign delegates to discuss the terms of the alliance between the two villages, and the ties that already existed between them had become extremely strained. The future of both would be decided today or broken, and he knew it very well. Don't make fun of our intelligence by playing the fool, Sarutobi. We know that there is at least one Uzumaki in this village. We may not be Konoha ninjas, but we have every right in the world to see this person or these people if there is more than one Uzumaki. With our own eyes. Do not complicate this more than necessary. He was warned by the leader of the group of foreign shinobi. This person was a foreign liaison, a representative from one village to another on behalf of the village leader. Regardless of whether this was also a cage. As long as he was in the other village, he was to be treated as if he were equal to the cage, even if he lacked real authority. I'm afraid you've just proved yourself wrong. Since you are not a Konoha ninja, and in fact you are not even a citizen of Konoha. You have no right to force me to do anything involving a citizen of my village, Sarutovia told this person and his advisors. No, but as Uzumaki, we have the right to interact freely with our relatives. Or are you going to pretend that there are none in Konoha? What makes you so sure that the Uzumakis are still alive in Konoha? Sarutobi asked. I won't confirm or deny it, but I need to know what gives you reason to believe it. Simple. Replied the person to the right of the main link. The Kyuubi attacked Konoha a few years ago. The fact that we are not among the ashes of its burned ruins can only mean that it was successfully resealed, and, considering that the last two Hinshiriki were members of our clan, that means that there must be an Uzumaki close by holding it. And there's no way you don't know where that Uzumaki is. Sarutobi closed his eyes for a moment. Okay, I can't argue with that. Yes, there is an Uzumaki in Konoha. But he is a citizen of Konoha and is part of Konoha. Therefore, you have no jurisdiction over him. The person in the middle of the three ninjas arched an eyebrow. You speak as if we had come only to take this person, from whom I gather that he is a child by the way you use the word he. This puzzled the experienced girl, but she knew how to disguise it. So why are you here? We came to check on the well-being of the remaining Uzumaki in Konoha, in particular that of the Hinshiriki. And we intend to offer our services to ensure your well-being. Or if there are others, and, if necessary, improve it. If we are satisfied with the situation here, we will gladly allow your village to continue supporting our family, but if we consider that this village puts them in danger, we will respond accordingly. Sarutobi arched an eyebrow. And that would imply. You don't want to know, man, the person to the left of the main link replied. Looking at the three of them, Sarutobi knew that the threat was far from hollow. The person standing in the middle of the three ambassadors was Uzumaki Kikyo, one of the strongest kunoichi in history, rivaled only by Irizen's own student Tsunade. From what I had heard, she was an expert in many shinobi skills, but her greatest mastery was focused on long-distance attacks. And she was the personification of the term sharpshooter. He was able to annihilate his opponents even before they were aware of his presence, usually with a Yumi bow that he carried. Sarutobi had only seen her do it once, and even now he still didn't understand how she was capable of doing it. But his accuracy and range were unmatched. Known as a one-shot Kikyo, because a single shot was enough to take your life. His aim was so great that he could effortlessly kill a person 8 kilometers away with a single shot from his bow. In short, if Kikyo wanted to kill you, it was only a matter of time. As for her appearance, Kikyo was a 24-year-old redhead who always looked and behaved like a professional. He was wearing the standard Uzumaki armor of his village, which basically looked like a plate apron on the front and back, with a long-sleeved red shirt underneath and dark blue pants, and a Yumi bow and a quiver on the back. Her eyes were blue and her hair, almost lava red, was cut to the style and with a low ponytail. He was carrying a sheathed dagger on his hip, although Sarutobi had no idea why he was carrying such a weapon given his talent. Standing to Kikyo's right was another girl, Uzumaki Milla. She was 19 years old, amber eyes, and dull red hair tied at the tip behind the shoulders with a gray etallet on the forehead. She was an expert swordswoman, and those who had seen her fight said that she was so good that they could not see her or her sword when she attacked, even while she mowed down her opponents. He had an innate talent for detecting openings and finding the weak points of both weapons and people. People said it was absolutely impossible to fight her without losing some blood. You'd have a better chance of successfully walking on coals than of escaping a battle with Milla unscathed. To Kikyo's left was the only man in the group. Uzumaki Junio had blue eyes and vermilion red hair. And he was the only person there that Sarutobi didn't know. He was wearing armor like the other two, and was wearing a shakuyo, as if he was trying to look like a monk. However, if that was his intention, it clearly wasn't working. Sarutobi has seen too many Uzumaki in his life to believe that one of them was incapable of beating up another. I suppose I should tell them everything, since they are already about to find out for themselves, Sarutobi began. They are right that there is an Uzumaki in the village, and that there is a Hinchiriki Uzumaki in the village. What they don't know is that there is only one Uzumaki in the village, and only one. Are you telling us that Kushina-sama is dead? June asked. Sarutovilla felt with sadness. Yes, it was a big loss for all of us. Cool, Rei is not going to like this news at all, Milla told her classmates, who like this Milla, go get Rei. Knowing him, he's probably doing an incredible stupid thing right now, Kikyo ordered. Milla nodded, and then seemed to disappear without using a shunsen. Kushina may be gone now, but she died so that her son could live. That is something to be respected, Sarutobi added. Your son? Kikyo asked, and then he smiled. Excellent. So it looks like there is an heir after all. Heir? Do you mean the heir of a clan? Sarutobi asked, wondering if they intended to exert any influence over him. More than that. Heir of all Ufujo, replied Junius. Heir to an entire village. Sarutobi asked. How is that possible? Hidden villages are not ruled by monarchies. Yours is not, ours is, said June. Our system works a little differently than normal monarchs. We have a leader who chooses a suitable successor from the immediate family, and if there are no suitable candidates available, they are considered more distant relatives. In that sense, we are a monarchy. But the ruling class must maintain its own training and missions as a girl. Like everyone, they rule warriors, and ninja trust their kage more than their daimyo, so our rulers should be kage above all else. But due to the problems that our village has faced in the last decade, the ruling branch of the Uzumaki family has almost completely disappeared, he intervened. Kikyo came. If Kushina-sama has a living son, he is the rightful heir to the throne of the kage. He must be taken to Uzusio. I'm afraid I can't allow that, Sarutobi said, and watched them both take up their weapons. Would you mind knowing why? Or would they rather kill me? They stopped. This better be good, man, June said, just so she wouldn't look threatening. Sarutobi clasped his hands. First, Kushina and her husband died to protect Konoha from the Kyuubi. By taking away their son, the Hinchiriki who to this day continues to protect the village instead, they make their sacrifice meaningless. If that's not enough for you, consider this. The balance of power between the top 5 countries is always delicate. Taking away Konoha's Hinchiriki removes a vital asset from that balance and puts everyone's life in danger. Not only that, but considering that they try to keep their reconstruction efforts secret from the rest of the villages. Having a Hinchiriki appear right in the middle of their village would be like telling the world, including their enemies, that his village survived. Not to mention that we, who have had a history of being able to keep to Hinchiriki in the past. While your village, as far as I know, is already going through difficult times with the people they currently have. Giving them a Hinchiriki child would only complicate things for them. Besides, would your ninjas accept a Hinchiriki as a leader? Yours too? Kikyo asked. Sarutobi didn't know what to say. Arguing it well, it was certainly the perfect answer. I would like to believe that one day it will be possible, but I can't guarantee that it will come soon. I'm not a prophet, you know. Sometimes it's not necessary, Kikyo said. Meanwhile, a man was coming out of Konoha Cemetery, wearing a black coat with a hood, a big spiral on the back, and the hood on. He was also wearing black gloves and shinobi sandals. He was one of those people who make you suspicious right away, but all he had done was pay his respects to one of the deceased. I wish I could have been there, Nessun. Maybe I couldn't have changed anything, but at least I could have tried. At least I can do something for your son when I find him. He looked left and right, wondering where to go. I already checked the Uzumaki buildings, but they were all abandoned. Where would your son live if he didn't go there? The guy in the black coat thought better of it. I should try to search the village while using my limited sensory abilities. Who knows? I've learned to control myself with that power, so maybe I could use it to enhance my sensory abilities. Hopefully, I could find him. With that decided, he jumped to get on a nearby telephone pole, which offered him a good view of the village. This should do the trick, he thought before closing his eyes and activating his chakra senses. As for perception, the high altitude helped to expand the area of search, but the disadvantage was that it was more difficult to perceive with focus. The same principle as that of normal eyes trying to see at a distance. Luckily, the goal I was looking for didn't need to be in focus. I'm not sure if it's him, but it's certainly the most obvious chakra sign in the village. It's a start, he said before jumping from one pole to another to get closer to the chakra source. As he got closer, he could perceive the chakra signature better. She felt that it was similar to the one her sister had felt. But, at the same time, it was different. Like a mixture of his chakra signature and someone else's, like you would find in a child of his. As he got closer and perceived her better, he was more and more sure that she was the person he was looking for. That wasn't the only thing I could feel. When he got close enough, he noticed that the chakra signal was flowing erratically. Not like when someone used their chakra. No, this was very different. He felt like he was in a panic. As if the person was scared. No, I'm not afraid. Terrified, it would be better to say. He could only run faster by feeling that. After a while, he had to leave the poles and climb on the roofs to get closer. As he did so, he saw someone else also climb onto the rooftops, dressed as a ninja and carrying in his arms what looked and sounded like a child protesting. And if that wasn't enough, the chakra signal I had been looking for seemed to detach from the child. The man in the black cloak narrowed his eyes as he saw the ninja walking away while chasing him. No, you won't. He extended his right hand, and a small flame emerged from his palm that spiraled out before retracting and forming a rotating circle around his wrist. He withdrew his arm, bit it and pushed it forward, as if throwing something. With that, the ring of fire separated from his arm and flew across the area like a frisbee towards the ninja carrying a child. The ring of fire smashed into the boy's waist, severely burning him, and even appeared to cut him on impact. This impact forced the ninja to collapse on the roof of a building, which allowed the hooded man to reach him. When he got there, the boy had already stood up and was trying to escape, but he didn't know how. "Are you okay, kid?" he asked, but the boy did not answer. "Hey, are you okay?" The boy turned to look at him with a scared expression, as if he expected this guy to do something to him. The man in the black coat opened his eyes wide at the sight of the child's face, as he began to observe the appearance of the frightened child he had just saved. The boy was no more than 6 years old, 7 at the most, and that's assuming he was short for his age. He had spiky blonde hair, blue eyes, and obvious mustache marks on his cheeks. Her clothes were brightly colored, but they were faded and dirty, with some stains, as if they were second-hand ones, that she had kept for a long time, without being able to replace. But what struck him the most was the shape of the child's face. She was exactly the same as her sister's when she was the same age. If he had any doubt that this was the boy he was looking for, he vanished at the sight of this. The man in the black coat decided that taking the hood off would make him look less intimidating to the poor guy. So, with this in mind, he raised a hand and began to lower it. "Easy boy," he said when his face was visible. He had a normal facial shape, with emerald eyes and spiky hair, just like the boy's. Only her hair was a little longer and a rusty scarlet color with some orange highlights. "I'm not here to hurt you. Why was that guy taking you?" The child was still shaking. "I don't know. I was walking when a big, stinky man started chasing me with a glass in his hands. He was constantly stumbling, so I thought I had lost him in an alley, but he caught up with me. A masked man appeared and saved me, but before I could thank him, he grabbed me and said he was taking me. It sounds harsh. And it's not at all something that should have happened. But you're already safe. My name is Uzumaki Rei, do you know it by heart? What's yours? The boy's eyes widened. Uzumaki. Yeah, does it mean anything to you? Rei asked. The blonde boy nodded slowly. Yes, my name is Uzumaki Naruto. Why do you have my name? I guess you have my name for the same reason. You are part of my clan. Clan? What is a clan? Naruto asked. Well, even kids half his age know what clans are when they're in clans. It is clear that someone is hiding information from him, and if he does not know, what does he know? Rei asked him. Rei sighed and lowered her gaze before muttering something. Then he looked at Naruto. Come on, kid. We have a lot to talk about. You're not taking that kid anywhere. Rei looked at the ninja he had shot down, and he had stood up, although trembling. He pressed a button on a black panel of his belt, which made Rei arch an eyebrow. Listen, buddy, there's nothing you can tell me to get away from this guy. And if he's who I think he is, I'll have no problem killing you to make that happen. Understood. So do us both a favor and be the one to walk away. The boy, whom she noted was wearing an ambo mask that she did not recognize as that of a normal ambo, shook his head. I can't. My superior ordered this boy to be brought to him, and failure is not an option. Rei signed and shook her head. Why do I always have to do the most unpleasant jobs? Rei raised her arms to her sides as a flare appeared on each hand. The flames soon spiraled out and transformed into large, oddly shaped chakras with flames around the pointed edges. The boy, surprised by this, could only observe the weapons that they were literally formed out of nothing but fire. Rei started spinning one of them at full speed before throwing it towards the ninja. Eat this, he said as he threw the first ring. The masked ninja jumped and spun in the air to dodge the chakram, which was also twisting in the air, as if trying to transform into another weapon. While the enemy was in the air, unable to react, Rhea released her second fire chakra. It flew vertically and impacted the masked ninja's abdomen, cutting it like a circular saw and cauterizing the wound perfectly. Both rings of fire vanished and the ninja, split in two, collapsed, with the upper half on the ceiling and the lower half over the edge. Someone shouted from below, not expecting someone's legs but to fall that way. Rei approached the fallen ninja and bent down to whisper. That's what happens to you for trying to hurt. To my nephew. He said it too quietly for Naruto to hear. Suddenly, a large group of Kyunae with explosive tags appeared out of nowhere, impaling themselves on the ceiling around the fallen ninja. But without reaching either him or Rei, as if they were supposed to miss. With no time to think about it, Rei quickly backed up and grabbed Naruto without a word. Although the boy clearly didn't like being taken away again. He then jumped to the next building just before it exploded. On the other rooftop, he saw a group of 6 ninjas, all wearing the same outfits and masks as the one he had just killed. The only thing that gave them individuality in appearance was their height and hair. Everyone seemed ready to fight as soon as he made a move. Well, this might pose a challenge for me, Rei said, lowering Naruto to free his hands. The young man slipped away, but he could not get very far without getting closer. To the others. Stay behind me, boy. He told the young Uzumaki as he raised his arms to his sides again, with his hands open and palms facing out. Before rearranging his fire chakras. Why should I trust you? Naruto asked. It's them or me, feel free to choose. The masked ninjas moved in unison to ambush the 2 Uzumaki, forcing Naruto to decide if he was hiding behind Rei. The red-haired man with orange highlights extended his hands forward, turning his chakras into a kind of shield instead of weapons. He added a spiral of fire to them to give them more cover, so that it would seem that he was defending himself with the symbol of his clan. The masked ninjas were shocked to see this. This man, whoever he was, used jutsus and abilities never seen before. In a way, she reminded them of a red-haired woman, of which their leader had informed them. A woman who was allegedly related to the blonde they were trying to bring to him. They couldn't think about that right now. They had to continue their attack and get to the boy. Each one took out a katana, and 4 of them moved to hit the flames directly, while 2 others surrounded them. However, Rei foresaw it. He launched his 2 fire chakras like boomerangs, splitting the 2 attackers approaching from the side into before they could even blink, and gave a stomp. As he did so, a large ring of fire sprang up around him, protecting him and Naruto before he could catch his fire chakras. The other 4 ninjas were saved from the attack, but one of them managed to cut his cloak and bleed. They couldn't add more because of the wall of fire, so they backed off. "This won't protect you," one of them said before pulling out a scroll and opening some stored water. Sutin. Discharge of water bullets. From the water on the roof, many projectiles sprouted at high speed directly towards Ria. Ria threw one of her fire chakras at them and raised her hands as a wall of fire rose from the ring of fire, blocking the water projectiles. The flames that formed the wall of fire were so hot that the water projectiles turned into steam before they could get through it. Naruto looked at Major Uzumaki, amazed by the power the man was displaying. "From this guy, he's really strong. You're good, but you can't keep this fire burning forever," one of the ninjas chided, showing a paper label with a stamp. Rei narrowed her eyes, able to recognize the seal. "It is a fire suppressant, low quality according to Ufujo, but enough to buy time and overcome my defense." The ninja was about to throw it, but before doing so, he dropped it. And the hand that was holding him. The other ninjas were stunned by the surprise, and they felt that something was cutting them all and the blood was gushing out. But try as they might, none of them could see that he was cutting them. Rei smiled sarcastically at this. "It's about time he showed up. If it had taken longer, maybe I would have had to resort to that. Tell me you didn't incite Rei to do this." Again, Milla's voice told him, disappearing from his invisibility among the fallen masked men, holding his sword, covered in blood. "No, it wasn't my fault, Milla." In addition, his friend was trying to hurt a fellow Uzumaki. "If I had started, you wouldn't want me to do it." Milla sighed. "You're right." Then she looked at the blonde boy who was hiding behind Rei, while he scattered his ring of fire and made his flame chakras disappear. "Is that him?" "Yeah, and apparently something's going on here." "Something completely out of line," Rei said. "What do you mean?" Naruto asked. Rei and Milla exchanged a glance. They both knew that telling him or the boy would only confuse him and, in the worst case, could sow anger and disaster in his mind and his future. They couldn't say anything in front of him, at least not yet, but how to tell him this without losing the opportunity to earn his trust. Rei considered telling him that they knew his mother and that they could only go to see him now. It wasn't a lie. It just wasn't the whole truth. He opened his mouth to speak, but immediately Milla approached the boy and put a finger on his forehead. Immediately, Naruto collapsed and started snoring. "Mile," she said, really upset. "Not now. I know you want to tell her, but doing it without Kikyo-sama is a bad idea," Milla told her. "Before you object, are you sure you want to risk offending one-shot Kikyo?" Okay, I'll shut up. But she will want to hear what I heard," Rei told her. "Welcome back, Reason," Kikyo greeted formally as the 2 Uzumaki returned to the office of the Hokage. "I hope you have overcome your need for sightseeing by now." He arched an eyebrow at the sight of the girl in Milla's arms. "And what is this?" Rei had a gloomy expression as she looked at Kikyo. "This is the Uzumaki we are looking for, and I have reason to believe that he is my nephew, since the last people in this village besides Kushina Nizan who had Uzumaki blood were Tsunade and Nawaki. And, as you know, Nawaki died at the age of 12, and Tsunade never had children." Kikyo did not react, but watched the boy. Nothing about him seemed like an Uzumaki clan trait, but his chakra, it was definitely from his clan. There was no doubt about it. "What have you done to the boy?" Sarutobi asked him. Rei looked at the old man with contempt. "I could ask the same of you and this whole town. Did you know he was being kidnapped when I first saw him? And before that, a man, I guess drunk, at noon, was trying to hurt her with broken glass." The Uzumaki in the room opened their eyes wide upon hearing these words, and then turned to Sarutobi with narrowed eyes. The old man felt that the air was filled with bad intentions. Sarutobi, could you explain to me why something like this happens in your village? It didn't take a genius to realize that Sarutobi was in trouble with the visiting Uzumaki. The people of Konoha are not very amused to know that this boy is the Hinchiriki of the Kyuubi. Right now, you get the idea of how badly they do it. Don't you take it well? Rei repeated, offended by the phrase that sought to soften the news. This was an attempted murder and an attempted kidnapping. This goes beyond not liking what he is, this is treating the child as if he were the devil. Unfortunately, this is how some people see the boy. Fortunately, at least I have forbidden to talk about it so that no one of his age will know the truth, Sarutobi replied. June crossed her arms. With all due respect, Keiya Dono, forbidding someone to speak does not prevent them from acting on those thoughts that they cannot express. It is clear that this village is not a safe place for the child, Kikyo said. Sarutobi sighed. Although it's hard for me to admit it, you're right. But there are those who ignore the hatred of others and the trivial as it is. Like the heiress Yuga, for example. Milla hit the ground with her foot. Do you expect us to leave him here, knowing this, just because a girl is in love with him? No, I would be a fool and unworthy of my job if that was my only argument. Look, the truth is that when Kushina was giving birth, the seal failed, and someone whose identity we still don't know took control of the escaping Kyuubi. Namikaze Minato, the Yonda and Miokai, husband of Kushina and father of Naruto, managed to reseal the fox inside his son. But both parents died in the attempt. They died believing that Naruto could protect the village better than they could. Ripping him out of Konoha before he even had a chance to become a ninja would be to despise his sacrifice. Rei clenched her fist upon hearing this. I get it. But it shouldn't be even more to let him live in these conditions, with people trying to kill him and spitting about his sacrifice, than to take him out of here, a place that one of his parents once called home. I can only do what I can to keep him safe, Sarutobi explained. You're obviously not doing enough. Naruto revealed to me that he doesn't even know it's a clan. Tell me, how is it possible that a clan heir, and the only Uzumaki in this village, doesn't know something so basic? If you were doing everything to honor my sister, you're the Okage, so you couldn't tell him about his ancestry yourself? Rei asked. Sarutobi sighed. It's not as easy as you think. I can't teach him anything ninja related without getting attention, but I've told him to always listen in class once. Let it start at the academy. Not only that, but while I was concentrating on making sure we recovered from the Kirugi attack, the civil council intruded into the academy and modified the curriculum a little. One of the things they did was to remove the teaching about the Uzumaki from the program to try to save face before the other nations, making us seem alien to your clan. I didn't find out myself until recently, and I intend to rectify this situation as soon as possible. You let the civilians decide what should and shouldn't be taught to the ninjas, Kikyo repeated, with a disappointed expression and bewilderment. It was an expression shared by the rest of his clan members at that time. He saluted and shook his head. No, it's more like they forged my signature and ordered it to be changed to their liking. And did you allow them to stay in power? June asked, starting to get angry. No, of course not. I sentenced them to life in prison without the possibility of parole for usurping and defrauding the Okage. The current council is solving the problem. As I said, the problem was discovered recently. So, to solve a problem created by civilians, they commission new civilians to solve it simply because they are new. Rei asked. I am waiting for the report of the new curriculum right now. And to make sure that it is genuine and not just a distraction, I will check it myself at the beginning of the semester. I understand, but we still have reason to believe that Naruto is better off in our village. Especially if those who want to hurt her find a way to use her children to make the same thing happen to them, Kikyo said. Sarutovilla felt with sadness, knowing that they were right. Is there a way to reach an agreement that allows us to fully honor Minato and Kushina's wishes, in addition to doing what's best for Naruto-kun? Rei thought about it for a second before a smile, similar to the one seen on Naruto's face when he was planning something big, spread across his face. I think I have an idea. Irizen visibly cringed when Rei said those words. I'm gonna regret this, right? Chapter 1. Konoha Hospital, Kanawagakure. Current time. A child tried to open his eyes, but found that the light was too painful for him at that moment and was forced to close them again. What happened? He asked himself, before he could answer his own question. Oh right, the theme tried to leave, and I had to give it a good beating to get it back. I had a great time, I must admit. But then, how did I get back here? Wait, I'm in Konoha, right? She wondered as she struggled to open her eyes and tried to understand what was going on. The boy was none other than Uzumaki Naruto, genin of Kanawagakure and aspiring Hokage, who was recovering from his last mission. As the young Konoha ninja couldn't even open his eyes right away, and was now covered in bandages that covered his entire body except for his hair, mouth, nose and eyes like a mummy. It was evident that this mission he had killed the normally noisy blonde. Naruto opened his eyes, fighting the pain he felt doing so, and raised his hand to see if he could dim the light. He distinguished a room with white walls and an open window, as well as a constant beeping. Yeah, I'm in a hospital, so that's a good sign. There was a knock at the door. Naruto, by reflex, tried to say come in, but his mouth hurt. All he could say was Ejin. Taking that as a sign, the door opened and Naruto saw a familiar face, which reassured him. Hey, Naruto. I'm glad to see that you didn't die under my care. But you look terrible. Did Sasuke really do all that to you? Shikamaru asked. Zaushik, he started, then sighed and coughed. Ader. He pretended to drink from a glass to make his point clear. Shikamaru sighed. Wait, I'm going to get some. Before Naruto could point out that there was a sink nearby, Shikamaru had already left the room. Damn, the guy is too lazy to listen to a guy who can barely talk. Naruto groaned before lying back down. But he did a good job leading this mission. He added, then grimaced. This mission, why did it have to happen in the first place? What the hell was Sasuke thinking when he left Konoha? The guy has never wanted anything more than to kill his brother or get his family back, so I know he wants to get stronger. But why couldn't he train to do that here? What could Orochimaru give him that Konoha couldn't? And what would have made him so valuable to Sasuke that he would risk letting Orochimaru take over his body? Just to get whatever that snake was offering him. Naruto thought to himself as the blonde, going against his usual rash self, tried to think about what could have happened. No matter how hard he tried, Naruto couldn't understand what Sasuke had been thinking. So he tried to brush up on what he did know. Sasuke had lost his entire family in one night at the hands of his brother and vowed to get revenge on him, so he trained himself to be more than 100% to get his revenge. Orochimaru had approached him in the Forest of Death during the Chunin exams. And obviously Orochimaru had approached him at least a couple of times after that encounter, both directly and indirectly, with the snake offering to go with him in exchange for more power. He had failed to kill Itachi the first time he saw his older brother. And then he decided to accept Orochimaru's offer and leave Konoha and his team and suffer the legal consequences of such a decision. Naruto had only met Itachi once, and to tell the truth, he could understand why Sasuke was so afraid of him. That he was determined to see him dead. Even ignoring the fact that Uchiha Itachi was strong enough to kill his entire clan in one night. The guy had a way of making his opponent feel powerless. In fact, that might have been a big part of how he was able to kill so many in one night to begin with. But of course, Naruto was still young and inexperienced by comparison, so that had to be taken into account. In any case, Itachi was capable of attacking the mind, body, heart, and even the spirit of his prey. He didn't just kill his opponents, he destroyed everything that defined them, although whether this was Itachi's intention was something that, for some reason, Naruto wasn't sure about. Naruto was unaware of the full extent of Itachi's powers. In fact, he doubted that even Sasuke knew about it. Possibly, the only one who had a precise idea was Jiraiya of the Sannin. The only one whom Itachi seemed to recognize as much more powerful than him, or whom he feared directly. Why didn't Sasuke ask Hiroshinen to train him? His brother said that Hiroshinen was stronger than him. Couldn't Sasuke have at least tried to ask the pervert for help before going with Orochimaru? What made you think that that bug knows anything about Itachi? Naruto asked himself. Either Orochimaru knows something about Hitachi that he told Sasuke when I wasn't present, Or that bug is controlling him somehow. Those are the only explanations that make sense. The door opened, and Shikamaru returned with a glass of water, but this time he had company. Next to him was Hinata, who seemed nervous, but not surprised by how bandaged Naruto was, much to the blonde genin's surprise. "Here," Shikamaru said, offering him the glass. Naruto eagerly took it and drank it in one gulp. He coughed a little when he stopped, but he felt improvement in his throat. "Thank you, Shikamaru." Looks like I can talk again now." "Naruto-kun, what happened to you?" Hinata asked. Naruto sighed before answering. "I guess Sasuke didn't mean to be nice," he said, and then he touched the spot where a Chidori had pierced him. "The fight got so out of control that he probably didn't even know what he was doing and tried to kill me. He almost succeeded a couple of times." Shikamaru's eyes opened slightly upon hearing this, and Jimata looked like he was going to faint from the surprise. "But enough about me. What about the others on our team? What happened to Kiba, Choji, and Neji? And what about Sasuke? Did I manage to stop him or him?" Naruto asked before pausing, not wanting to even think about the alternative to that last question. "It's a long story, Naruto," Shikamaru began, clearly uncomfortable with the current interrogation. "I'm not going anywhere." He reminded Naruto of the lazy boy. Shikamaru sighed. "Well, if you make me say it, Choji and Neji are in intensive care right now. Of all our fights, those two clearly took the brunt. That said, there is no reason to believe that they are in mortal danger according to doctors. Tsunade-sama is a real pain sometimes, but I must admit that she really exceeded her expectations with her medical expertise. If I hadn't, I'd be giving you the dates of Choji and Neji's funerals right now. As for the rest of us, Kiba and Akamaru are a little less hurt than you and they're fine. The only thing I got out of this mission was a broken finger." He raised his hand to show it. "I also read some allies of Suna, Gaara and her two brothers. They came to help, and everyone seems to be fine. As for Sasuke, he brought him back to your sensei, who brought you at the same time. He is receiving treatment, but no visitors are allowed for now. I bet Ino is figuring it out right now. I bet Sakura-chan is finding out too," Naruto commented, a little annoyed, but not at all surprised. That his pink-haired companion investigated Sasuke before him, even though it wasn't allowed. But he tried to ignore it. "I was just relieved that Sasuke was in Konoha right now. Anyway, the important thing is that we all got out alive and succeeded in our mission. It's something to be thankful for," Shikamaru added. "By the way, you should know that you have been unconscious for 3 days. If Naruto was still drinking water, he would have spat at the news. 3 days. Yes, I've been coming every day to check on you and the others. Same with Hinata, although unlike me, she was always going to see you first," Shikamaru pointed out, pointing at the white-eyed girl with a quick nod. Hinata's face darkened. I just wanted to," she clasped her fingers together, not knowing what to say, and unable to look anyone in the eye. "Thanks, guys. Has anyone else been through here?" Naruto asked. "No idea. If so, then it wasn't when I was here," Shikamaru replied, and then he saw that Hinata was still confused with herself. "Well, I don't have anything else to say, so I'm off to check on Kiba. Although I guess Hinata will want to stay a while longer." Again, without bothering to give anyone a chance to say otherwise, he left the room. Naruto looked at Hinata, who was no longer speaking or looking at him. To him, it seemed like she desperately wanted to be somewhere else, but she couldn't leave without being rude. "And Nata, if you want to leave, you can. I won't stop you," he told her gently, giving her the outlet he thought she needed. And Nata looked at him. "I want to stay," he blurted out, but he held back. "That is if I may." "Sure, why wouldn't I?" he replied. "Even if you make yourself comfortable, you look just the opposite." And Nata sat down in a chair by her bed, ready to receive visitors. "Is there anything you would like to tell me, Hinata?" The white-eyed girl tensed for a moment. "I wanted to say a lot of things, but I didn't know where to start, much less if I could say any. Naruto-kun, what happened to you out there? I heard they almost killed you." "Huh? Who told you that?" Naruto, your sensei, asked. "He said Sasuke-san tried to kill you with an assassination jutsu. And you just said yourself that he probably tried to kill you and almost succeeded," she said, with small tears forming in the corners of her eyes as she heard these words. Oh? Well, Sasuke attacked me with the Chidori, but he sure as hell wasn't trying to kill me. Or at least he wasn't doing it of his own free will. It must have been the seal that Orochimaru was manipulating his mind, or something, Naruto replied. And Nada shook her head. Naruto-kun, your own sidekick almost broke your heart, and probably smashed your lung, and half of your ribs. How are you going to defend him? Because it had to be Orochimaru who controlled him. It's not his fault, it can't be, Naruto said. Naruto-kun, I know the seals control people. Do you remember what Nagini and San told you about my clan? Hinata asked. The seal of the caged bird does not control the thoughts of the wearer. It can be used to divert certain thoughts, but not automatically. For it to take effect, someone who knows how to use it must activate it and be nearby. So, for a seal to affect Sasuke-san, Orochimaru would have to be around and use it. And if that was the case, why would I let Kakashi-sensei bring them back? Well, I wasn't thinking straight. I mean, someone did a genjutsu on him recently, Naruto pointed out, making sure not to mention Itachi at all. Since that was another story. That could have affected him. When was he beaten? Hinata asked. Naruto thought about it. During the mission where Erosanin and I brought Bachan. He observed the heiress Yuga's confused expression at his sentence. Are you Hokage? And Nada arched an eyebrow. Naruto-kun, my sensei is an expert in genjutsu and went to see if it was like that. If he was, he would have said so, but he didn't. And believe me, there are few genjutsus, if any, that can affect a Sharingan user for so long. If he had been given one a few weeks ago, any effects would have disappeared by now. Long-lasting genjutsus are almost impossible to use in the Uchiha. What do you say, Hinata? That Sasuke really wanted to kill me. He may be an idiot, but that's too much even for him. So why did he use an assassination jutsu against you? He asked. I don't know, but it couldn't have been to kill me, he insisted. Why do you think that, Naruto-kun? What am I supposed to believe, Hinata? That Sasuke, my partner, was trying to kill me of his own free will. That I wanted to end our friendship. I can't believe it, he said, and then added to himself in a low voice. I don't want to believe it. And Nada caught that and leaned over to him, holding his hand, even though she was blushing. Naruto-kun, I know this is unpleasant, but something is not true simply because you wish it. I know this hurts you, but you should consider the possibility that Sasuke-san really wanted to kill you. Naruto withdrew his hand, hurting her a little for his small rejection. Even if you're right, it doesn't matter. He's still here so I can change him so this doesn't happen again. Why do you care? Why does it matter if Sasuke tried to kill me or not? And Nada tried to shut herself in, hesitating to answer, but Naruto wouldn't let her. If you have a reason to care, at least be brave enough to tell me why. I don't want to, he stammered quickly. Can you speak up, Hinata? He asked, a little annoyed by her silence. After a brief moment, Hinata, with an attitude completely unbecoming of her, snapped. I don't want you to die, Naruto-kun. I care too much about you to see you get killed. If you died, I don't know what you would do. She screamed, forcing herself to speak louder, but losing control of her own volume as she forced it. Naruto looked at her and was stunned, silent. He wondered who the girl in front of him was and what had happened to the Hinata he knew. Hinata blushed even more after that outburst and looked out the window so as not to make a fool of herself. Hinata. He called to her gently, but she did not answer. Hinata, what did you mean by that? He was trembling slightly. Naruto-kun, you almost died on that mission. Do you even understand what that means? Yes, that's part of the job, Hinata, he commented. This was different. You almost died, all from trying to revive someone you thought wasn't going to try to kill you. Did you think that Nagini and San weren't trying to kill you in the Chunin exams? Did you think he wasn't trying to kill me? No, I did see that, he told her. Now Hinata was looking at him, with tears slowly falling. Mind of his eyes. You say that you don't believe Sasuke-san was trying to kill you, and you say that the main reason you believe it is because you don't want to believe the alternative. And if he tried, and if he tries again, you're going to leave yourself exposed because you want to believe he's just playing. But, Naruto. "Do you remember how furious you got when Nijini and San almost killed me?" she asked, and he nodded. "The thought of Sasuke-san trying that on you makes me just as angry, and hearing you defend him hurts me just as much as it hurts you. If I had defended Nijini and San right after it happened." Naruto was stunned, because Hinata was right. Neiji's attempt to murder her during the Chunin exams was one of the few times in his life when Naruto admitted to being really angry at someone. Everything Neji had done or said was so mean and offensive that it was impossible not to get angry. If you were a decent person. But he never thought that someone would feel the same for someone if he had been in Hinata's place in that situation. Most of the time, he believed that most people would not care enough to do something about his death. Some would cry, but no one would swear to take revenge on his killer as he swore to take revenge on Neji. But he was wrong. Would people really be so mad at someone for killing them that they would take revenge? And in this case, it would be and kill one of them. Naruto-kun, the fact is that Sasuke-san tried to kill you. Whether he was influenced or not doesn't matter to me, just like whether he was influenced or not Nijini-san matters to you. He tried to kill you. To kill you. He makes me so angry that I just want to go after him and hit him with all my might, like you did with Nijini-san. When you defend him, it's like you're saying you should die. And Nata, he said quietly, stunned that this shy and quiet girl could not only wish for another's pain, but would do so if it meant taking revenge on all people. Naruto-kun, if he tried once, he might try again. Please, I know you don't want to, but don't let your guard down. Don't pretend that Sasuke-san was just playing. If he tries again, if he succeeds in killing you, she paused and struggled to speak, as if choking on her sobs. What will you do? He asked, on a roll, and Nata came up to him and looked him straight in the eyes. I would kill him. And then I would kill myself. I can't live in a world without you, Naruto-kun. If I survive you, Naruto-kun, I will have nothing to live for. You have no idea how much you mean to me, Naruto-kun. Then why don't you tell me about it? He asked to test her, blushing, although not as much as usual, and Nata felt that she had reached a point of no return. And that she should tell him. And to be honest, I didn't think I wanted to go back. And if Naruto didn't survive his next mission, and if she didn't, he didn't want to survive. But he also didn't want to regret not taking this opportunity. And Nata took a deep breath and mustered what little courage she had at that moment before finally saying a four-word sentence that, for everyone who had noticed the Yuga heiress's feelings, was a long time coming. Naruto-kun, I love you. Hinata confessed, and then she felt that she felt lighter in saying so. It was as if, with that sentence, the chains that surrounded Hinata's confidence had been broken, and the weight of her doubts had suddenly been lifted from her shoulders. I love you. You don't have to say you love me now. I won't be upset if you don't love me yet, or even if you never do. But I want you to know how I feel, and I want to be by your side, no matter what. You could at least give me a chance before you decide what to do. Naruto didn't know what to say, and, to be honest, no one could blame him. A girl he had always considered reserved, a girl he considered a little weird, had just confessed to him that she loved him, transforming herself almost into another person just by saying those words. Nothing he knew, or what had happened in his life, would have prepared him for this. And if that wasn't enough, she was fine with him not corresponding with her for the rest of their lives. As long as he at least made an effort to get to know her before deciding what he wanted and what he thought of her. From that moment, Naruto had more chances to finish the test of the first round of the Chunin exams and get all the questions right, than to know what to say to Hinata after this bombshell. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door again, which forced the two to break eye contact, and allowed Naruto to try to understand what Hinata had just told him and see who was there. The door opened and Kushina entered and, hello to both of you. How are they doing? We're fine, Kushina and Sensei. He saluted Hinata. Yes, we are, Naruto forced himself to say. What brings you here? Oh, nothing. I was just checking on how Kaibai Shikamaru was doing. He told me that Hinata was here. So I thought I'd see what was going on between the two of you. It's okay, Naruto said, a little defensively. Kushina arched an eyebrow at the way she said it and noticed that Hinata seemed to be hiding something. Mom, I guess he must have finally told her. Well, even if I did, it's a matter between the two of them, and I shouldn't get involved. Since it seems that the guy would not know what to do with it even with an instruction manual. That said, it was something Hinata needed to say, and something Naruto needed to learn, so it's definitely the best thing for both of them. Especially if those rumors I've been hearing lately are true. The Genjutsu teacher thought to herself before turning her attention back to her student. Then come with me, Hinata. It's time for our team's lesson, or yours and Shino's, as Kiba is not going anywhere for now. Unless you'd rather spend more time with Naruto here. This was one of the most difficult decisions in Hinata's life. He didn't want to disobey his sensei, but leaving Naruto so soon after having opened his heart to him would devalue his effort. However, if he stayed, how would he explain it to Kureina, and without arousing suspicion, or even displeasing her? And if he stayed, that would be tantamount to putting Naruto in a bind and making him feel like he had to give him an answer to something that I didn't even know how to think at that moment, let alone what I would think of this revelation. Sensing her inner conflict, Naruto decided that he needed to help her in some way. It's okay, Hinata. You told me that you want to get stronger too, and this is part of it. Besides, it's not like you don't have time to come back if you want, right? And Nada didn't know what to say, but she nodded. She knew she needed time to process the big revelation she had just given her, and she didn't want to seem needy or fanatical, making her feel like she had to respond on her terms. Okay, I'll be back later, Naruto-kun. And Nada was led out of the room, and she gave the blonde with sideburns one last hopeful look before leaving. However, Kureina did not leave when her student did. Naruto, I know we've never really talked, but there's something I wanted to tell you. He sighed briefly. I know it must have been hard to treat your own teammate like a dangerous criminal, especially one who tried to kill you, but you still did the right thing, considering what would have happened to your teammates if you hadn't done nothing. Most bad things happen not because people are bad, but because good people don't know what to do and make mistakes or don't do anything. But you did the right thing here, even if you think you didn't. Kureina and Sensei, how do you know it's the right thing to do? He asked, and secretly he wasn't just asking about the mission. I was wondering what to do with Hinata. Although he did not say it explicitly, Kureina clearly understood the other, more hidden meaning behind that question. Most of the time, no. The problem with getting it right is that it's easier to know when you're not the one who has to do it. When you do have to do it, people tend to think too much about it, or they can't choose between morality or personal benefit. I think the best way to know what's right is to ask yourself what you would consider right if you weren't involved. If it had been someone else who had to revive the Uchiha, what would you have told them to do that was different from what you did? Naruto didn't know what to say, but his point made sense to him. I don't think it would have been any different. That's the idea. Whenever you feel like you don't know what is the right thing to do, ask yourself what you would say if it was someone else's decision. And then take your own advice. With that said, the older Kunoichi left the room, and Naruto was still as confused as when it all started. But he felt that it would be easier for him now to know what to do. Council chamber, Konoha. Meanwhile, while Naruto was dealing with the possible reality regarding Sasuke and the bombshell of Hinata's confession, another conversation was about to start. This conversation, unbeknownst to the young Hinshiriki, was to be the first of a rapid succession of events that would drastically change his life forever and was taking place in the chambers of Konoha's ruling body. In these chambers, one of the safest in all of Konoha, the collective governing body of the village met. This collective body consisted of four main components. First, there was the Hokage, the true ruler of Konoha and all its inhabitants. The Hokage had more power than anyone else and was the only real authority over the matters they affected. To the village in general. In essence, the other three agencies existed to ensure that the Hokage did not abuse this power, use it without knowledge, or stay in a position where he could not use it. Currently, this position was occupied by the Godame Hokage, a woman named Tsunade, a descendant of the clans in Uzumaki, who, along with Jiraiya and Orochimaru, was part of a legendary trio of shinobi known as the Sannin. Then there were the senior counselors, the smallest and probably least important group that existed. The position was mainly awarded as a way to honor the few shinobi who managed to reach old age, who were respected for their achievements. and because their experience was invaluable in many situations. However, in other situations, the advice of the elders was outdated and obsolete in the girls' world, mostly oriented to youth. Times were constantly changing, as were people and things in those times. So they were rarely the first group to be turned to 4 points of view. Currently, this position was occupied by Mito Kara Omura and Udatane Koru, teammates of the late Sarutobi Irizen. Next, there was the Shinobi Council, composed of the heads of the Konoha clans, the director of the Ambu Division, and a couple of other high-ranking members within the Konoha Shinobi ranks. His job was to supervise the clans, the Black Ops Division, and the rest of the Konoha ninjas, to ensure that there were no problems within their ranks that could pose a possible threat to the village and to ensure that the laws of Konoha were followed. Some notable members were Yugayashi, Narashikaku, and Shimura Danzu, who was currently replacing Lucia. Despite not being a member of the clan, regardless of the fact that there was no Uchiha clan to begin with, as only there was a very problematic Uchiha left in Konoha. And finally there was the Civil Council, the group with the least power in the village among the 3 representative bodies. Barely one step above the senior councillors in terms of real power. Konoha was a village that housed and was the center of the host country's army, just like the other hidden villages. In this case, the host country was the Tierra del Fuego, and it was a kind of gigantic barracks, and that was its central role. Despite this, Konoha was still a village and had all the responsibilities and benefits. Occupations of one as far as civilians were concerned, who provided many important or desirable services for the shinobi and others, as the shinobi were often too busy with missions and legal matters to oversee the general upkeep of the village. It was the responsibility of the Civil Council to look after the welfare of Konoha's public services. The economy is not ninja. Tsunade, sitting on the Okage chair in the room, looked around before declaring the meeting open. Hello everyone. Now that the members of Sasuke's recovery team are stable, which means I have some time off from hospital, I think it's time to inform you about what happened recently. As everyone knows, Uchiha Sasuke defected from the village to join Orochimaru and his village, Otagakure. The team sent to bring him back before he could reach Otagakure was successful, and Sasuke was detained for the time being. 4 of the 5 members of the team we sent were seriously injured, 2 of them in critical condition, but all are out of danger, and will make a full recovery, although it will take time for a couple of them. I'm glad to know, Akimichi Choza said. The head of the Akimichi clan was one of the first to find out about his son Choji's plight. The young member of Team 10 was one of 2 team members who were in critical condition after the mission. Right now, Sasuke is also receiving treatment in the prison wing of the hospital, after being injured after forcing one of the team members to use force to prevent his attempt to defect. I have granted the right of visitation to your team members, but only if they follow the proper procedures. The other participants in the mission have not been subjected to any restrictions, beyond those that the hospital itself imposes on its patients. However, for the time being, I must insist that you avoid making unauthorized visits to Uzumaki Naruto until he is discharged. Can we ask why? Yashi asked. It's not that, I'm saying that one of us planned to visit the boy, but that's a little out of place. This is mainly a security measure, and something that you must communicate to those under your care on my behalf. The reason is that Naruto suffered many injuries in his attempt to subdue Sasuke. Precautions must be taken to ensure that the seal has not been damaged by Sasuke's actions. Are we in danger of the fox being released? A concerned civilian asked. When Sarutobi returned to power, a couple of civilian counselors took the opportunity to try to take over the village and unleash more torments on the young Naruto, whose life they had already turned into a lonely hell. They tried to destroy information from the village archives, modify the academy curriculum to make it more accessible to civilians. And of course, some civilians tried to promote propaganda against Naruto when he found himself helpless despite the wishes of the 4th Hokage. Fortunately, Sarutobi and the ninjas, with the high commands without the blind hatred towards Naruto, felt by civilians and some of their ranks, although some clan chiefs were annoyed with Naruto's jokes when he directed them to his clan, they managed to catch these civilians before they achieved their goals and set an example. Civilians now knew that they should not tempt fate in the presence of people trained to fight others, who constantly tempted her, and were capable of doing it better than they were. But that didn't necessarily mean they liked Naruto. No, they were just better at keeping their tongues shut about him. He sighed before answering the civilian's question. If that was the problem, I think the Kiwi would have run away by now, Tsunade told them. This is more of a precaution so that a SEAL expert can make the decision for us and determine the effects it might have on Naruto himself. Also, this leads me to something that I hesitate to submit, but I must do. This caught everyone's attention. Tsunade was not one to hesitate to speak her mind. Whenever the Sannin slug felt uncomfortable with something she was about to discuss, as apparently in this case, it was a luminous sign of life. Of what would come next. Don't worry, we are not in any danger, but this is something that worries all of us, both in this room and in the village. Several years ago, my predecessor and sensei, the Sandai Myokai, made a deal with a former ally of our village. Now, that ally has come to cooperate. What we owe him, so to speak, Tsunade began. I'm finding it a little difficult to explain this on my own, so I'll let the people in question explain for themselves why they're here. The door opened, and 4 people came in. They were none other than the same 4 Uzumaki who met Sarutobi 7 years ago, looking the same as they had looked back then. Led by the dreaded one-shot Kikyo. The 4 of them were acting professionally, but it became clear to the council member that they were not there to chat. To everyone, I present to you the representatives of our allied village, Ufujo. And, to be more specific, also to the representatives of the Uzumaki clan, Tsunade told them. Wait, the Uzumaki clan? Inuzukitsum asked. I thought they had wiped them all out. Indeed, and I thought the same about the whole Ufujo, added Aburame Shibi. If not, why were we misinformed? Because we wanted everyone to believe that we were destroyed, beyond those who should have known otherwise. And because we are ninjas, we act accordingly. Tell me, bore me, what is the most powerful tool of a ninja? Kikyo asked, clearly recognizing the insect handler clan's attire. Deception. But to be fair, if they are our allies, why would they deceive the rest and not the Okage? Shibi replied. I have to admit that he's right, Yamanaka and Noichi added. While being deceitful is good for a child, no decent person intentionally deceives an ally. If they were our allies, they wouldn't have fooled us either. And yet they did, Kikyo stated coolly. That's a very serious accusation, Tsume said apprehensively. You can back her up. Yes, we can. That's the goal of this visit, Milla said. How can you even visit us? Not to be rude, but how could you have survived all this time, without us finding out? Yasi asked. The head of the Yuga clan, although he did not want to offend the envoy, was visibly puzzled. Portal in front of the Uzumaki. Yasi suddenly understood something as he turned to look at Tsunade. By the way, how long have you known them, Okage-sama? I found out just a couple of days ago, right after I sent the team to rescue Sasuke. They preferred not to talk until they knew that Naruto had returned and was out of danger. Since he has already regained consciousness and is recovering in the hospital with no significant news for now, it will be enough. As this could not be delayed much longer, Tsunade replied before turning to Kikyo. Now, let them count their part. Kikyo nodded in appreciation before continuing to speak. Thank you, Okage-sama. Konoha Council, I think it is necessary to introduce myself. I am Uzumaki Kikyo, head of the Ufujo envoy and acting leader of the Uzumaki clan. Those who are next to me are Uzumaki Milla, Uzumaki Junio, and Uzumaki Rei. 7 years ago, we met with his previous Okage, Sarutobi and Ruzan, to discuss the welfare of the only member of our clan in this village, Uzumaki Naruto. And we told him that we would return when a new Okage took over to reassess your situation. So here we are. At the mention of Naruto, several of the members of the Civil Council were talking among themselves, surprised by this revelation. Wait, you mean Naruto is actually a member of a clan? One of the civilians asked. They told me that they named it after your clan, but there was no blood connection. Indeed, and without wishing to offend either you or your companions, Kikyo don't know, but as far as I see, none of you look like the boy, another civilian pointed out. That's because he resembled his father Minato in appearance, although the shape of his face is definitely that of his mother. Honestly, I'm surprised more people don't notice the resemblance, given that a giant bust of her father's face is carved into that mountain that towers over your village, Rei commented. Most of the civilians did not hear Rei's comment beyond mentioning his name, aware that he was referring to Namikaze Minato. The Yonda and Miokai. They soon tied up and realized that Rei was saying that Naruto, instead of being the human form of the Kyuubi, as some civilians believed until Naruto successfully defended himself against a runaway Ichibi during the invasion of Otosuna, was the only son of the revered Okage. Most, too stunned to respond, turned around to look inquisitively at Tsunade, who nodded, confirming Rei's claim. When most of the civilians realized that they had been making Minato's own son's life a living hell for more than a decade, the shinobi, who were already aware of the truth, and those civilians who were able to get out of their shock, they continued to interrogate Uzumaki's envoy Bara Uzusio. While I will confirm Ryodono's claim, how is it that you know the identity of her parents? Nara Shikaku asked. Don't we have the right to know the parents of our relatives? Kikyo asked defiantly. How did you know that? Shibi asked. Her mother is my sister, Rei pointed out. Did you really think she wouldn't tell us she was pregnant? To be frank, we didn't think he had any family outside of Konoha back then, let alone now, Hinoichi replied. And where have you been all this time if not here? If Naruto is one of your clan, I imagine you would want to see him more often. When Ufujo was attacked and overpowered, we ignored our enemies who had warned us of the impending attack in advance. And that most of the inhabitants of Ufujo, including our clan, had already taken refuge in secret panic that we built all over the Tierra del Fuego and the numerous small islands that surround the Tierra de los Whirlpools. We stayed in those bunkers until the heat died down, and then we went back to Ufujo, or what was left of it by then. Coming to Konoha would have been too obvious, and would have destroyed any chance of rebuilding our village, Kikyo explained. Then you were playing dead, so to speak? A civilian asked. Yes, we were. And we've been rebuilding our village ever since. However, we had to do it in secret so that those who attacked us would not know, for fear that they would try to finish what they had started. Junio added. Kikyo cleared his throat. Anyway, that's not the problem. The problem is that we entrusted some members of our clan, of which only Naruto is left alive, to this village. And, now that we have evaluated its current state, we are no longer satisfied with letting Konoha have Naruto, who also. He is the last living member of the ruling family of our clan, under its jurisdiction. Now we intend to bring it to Ufujo, as we should have done years ago. You can't do that. Several voices said at once. Why not? Why should Konoha have it? Why shouldn't we let Naruto go home? Kikyo challenged him. He's right. Besides, from what I've seen from the people of this village, especially among you civilians, it seems that they want him to leave. Now they have a chance to take it away from on top, and they refuse to let him go, Rei proclaimed. You know that Naruto is the Hinchiriki of the Kyuubi, right? That's the only reason we need to keep him here, Danzu stated. The four Uzumaki looked at him with evil eyes. If his Hinchiriki status meant anything to this village, he would be stronger. Strong. Not what it is now. What do you mean? Rei handed some papers to Kikyo. To begin with, it says here that Naruto failed the academy graduation exam 3 times, which is the legal maximum in this village. But if this were normal, Naruto would be at least 2 years older than the genin he's paired with. However, it is confirmed that he is younger than both of them, as are others nicknamed the 12 Rookies by those who know the genin. How is this a sign of abuse? Tsume asked. Simple, the mere fact that Naruto took the graduation exam more than once. And yet, even if he was the same age as those in the same class he graduated from, it proves one thing. Someone allowed Naruto to take the graduation exam early and more than once. This wouldn't be a problem if Naruto was an exceptional student, but it wasn't like that. And I doubt that any teacher would allow him to do so if he simply requested it without allowing others in the class to do so, which reportedly did not happen. Logically, the only explanation is that someone at the academy was trying to get him kicked out of the system permanently, and that it was Naruto's fault. No one could argue that point. With Mizuki's actions being known to everyone, it wasn't hard to imagine that others at the academy, minus Iruka, given his bond with Naruto, had tried their own methods to sabotage Naruto. Also, having said that, it was hard to imagine Naruto being allowed to take the exam more than once, being the same age as the other newbies. If I had been really fair, I would have to be older than Neji. While it's a good point, this hardly constitutes proof of mistreatment, Koru claimed. Kikyo glanced through the papers. Away from Utsumaki's property, and forced to live in a shoddy apartment. Included in a team based solely on qualifications rather than talent or potential, with a sensei known for being late for everything. And to companions who care little or nothing about their well-being, ignoring the clan inheritance and the identity of their parents. Without permission to enter various public establishments under the pretext that the manager has the right to refuse to. Serving until the last Chunin exam, in which he could only participate after a real mission for which he was ill-prepared. And without training that went beyond walking through trees, and his legal godfather did not even bother to see him. Until a month ago, and that he is currently hiding from her that he is Naruto's godfather. I could go on with the following 3 examples, if you insist. We admit that he has not received the most preferential treatment, but it cannot be ignored that he is a Hinchiriki. Omura stated. If we treated him better than anyone else, it could go to his head. Why didn't you consider that when you treated Sasuke better than anyone else? Rei asked. Excuse me. Omura asked. On second thought, Sasuke's treatment is the exact opposite of what Kikyo said about Naruto. He was allowed to live on his clan's property. They assigned him to a team specifically tailored to his needs. Allowed him to enter any establishment whose owners offered discounts that were not given to others, and not only that. They allowed him to be late for rounds. Finals of Chunin exams, something that would not have been considered if it had been another. The one who was late. Again, if treating someone better than everyone else goes to their head, what excuse do you have? To begin with, Sasuke lost his entire clan at an early age. He needed something to help keep his spirits up, Koru said. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Naruto lost his family at an even younger age, the day he was born. According to your logic, he would also need to keep his spirits up, June pointed out. Indeed, he needed a reason to be loyal to this village, and right now. It wouldn't surprise me if the only reason he felt loyalty wasn't out of love, but out of obligation, Kikyo stated. Why would that matter? Danzu asked. Kikyo stared at the bandaged war hawk. Love has an effect on an Uzumaki, and even on our few remaining relatives of the Senhuaki clan in Konoha, to a lesser extent, that you could not comprehend. An Uzumaki motivated by love is comparable to an Uchiha motivated by pain, while the effect that pain would have on us would be no different than that of a normal person. If Sasuke was an example, that was a pretty interesting comparison. That doesn't matter, because he loves the people, Danzu reminded them. Really? Really? Milla asked. Sure, he keeps talking about that he wants to become Hokage one day, Koru said, and everyone nodded. That must mean he loves the village. That just means he wants to be in charge. It doesn't mean I love Konoha, Milla clarified. Who would want to be in charge of a people they don't love? Shikaku asked. Someone who doesn't know what he's fighting for. Tell me, if Naruto knew what you were hiding from him, would he still have faith in this village? Kikyo asked him. He will learn when he is ready, Danzu told them. And when is that? Excuse me. When will it be ready? Kikyo repeated. What standard should you meet so that no more secrets are kept from you? With all due respect, and although I don't want it to look like I agree with Danzo, that's Konoha's business, Tsunade told the redhead. His direct attack on Danzo went practically unnoticed by the Konoha. Advice, as I used to say something similar at every meeting. Very well, but we remain firm in our claim. We have decided that it is time for Uzumaki Naruto to come to Ufujo and be under our care. And we are here to bring him to Ufujo according to the first condition of our agreement with the Sandai Myokai. They can make things a lot easier for them if they don't interfere. Well, you came here for nothing, because you can't have it, Danzu interjected. Kiki looked at him indifferently. Maybe your ears are as damaged as the right side of your whole body. I didn't say we were coming to negotiate like we did, against our better judgment. The last time we came here. We will not give in this time. We took it with us as we should have done that day. We were disappointed by your approval. What kind of nonsense is this? One of the civilians exclaimed loudly. They say that we have not taken good care of Uzumaki Naruto, but, despite knowing him for about 7 years, they have done absolutely nothing for him in that time. And you think you can take him away from this village just because you share the same name? Do you want the guy to trust you, but you still keep blaming him like it's an advantage? I'm sure it will come out one day. The backfire. Not that it matters, as this is Naruto's last day as a Konoha shinobi. That's our last word as Uzumaki Naruto's clanmate, no ifs, ands, or buts, Kikyo commented. And what makes you think that you can do more for him than Konoha can already done? Yashi asked. The leader of the Yuga clan was among those who tried to calm the heated confrontation, but did not want to give in to the envoy's demands. As he and the other shinobi saw, there is a reason why our clan is feared by our enemies. With us, your situation will be no different than the current in that sense, and at least we will be able to raise him as Kushina and her husband would have wanted, Milla replied. Being feared is not necessarily a good thing, Tsunade pointed out. Only if that fear torments you, something that will not happen to him in Ufujo. Do you have reason to believe that he will not be better off with us? Replied Kikyo. That's irrelevant. Naruto belongs to Konoha. This is his home, everyone he knows and loves is here, and his father wished him to protect Konoha, Tsunade told them. Trying to think of the best for Naruto, instead of just playing tug of war with another village and he. Like the rope. Before this conversation escalates, I think I know how to solve it very simply, Milla said, making everyone in the room listen. Let Naruto decide for himself what he wants, after hearing what both villages can offer. The council discussed this suggestion among themselves, while Shizune, Tsunade's assistant who was observing the proceedings next to her teacher, approached her former teacher. I think we should follow Miyadono's advice. In any case, he should be the one to decide what to do, and it's unlikely he'll decide to leave anyway, Shizune suggested. To which Tsunade sighed. All right then. We'll let Naruto make the final decision, Tsunade stated, though she had a feeling this wasn't going to end well. Chapter 2. The Little We Know. Konoha Hospital, Konoha. Current time. While people were talking about Naruto, in the evening he received another visitor. His partner Sakura came in, making him smile. Hi Sakura-chan. The red-haired woman did not return his expression. Instead, his face contorted into an expression of awe and fear. He looked at Naruto as if he were Gaara. Naruto, what happened to you? Who did this to you? Ah, this. There's nothing to worry about. Sakura frowned. So why are you in a hospital? No idea, I woke up here. But I'm fine, he insisted. Naturally, Sakura was not convinced. Naruto, who hurt you? Sakura pressed. A little bit of this came from Orochimaru's goons, but mostly from Sasuke when I had to fight him, she admitted cautiously. Knowing that saying things about Sasuke in front of her was like walking into a minefield. Sakura gasped and covered her mouth. Did he do this to you? He asked in disbelief. When he asked Naruto to bring Sasuke back, he knew that the fight was inevitable, and that it could go wrong. But really thinking about it and listening to it are two different things, especially when the result was even worse than what I had imagined. But why would he do that? I'm not sure, but if you ask Hinata, she would say that she was really trying to kill me, Naruto told him. Did she say that? Sakura asked. Naruto nodded. Yeah, look, I don't want to believe Sasuke got as far as you did, Sakura-chan, but after what Hinata told me, what if she's right? What if Sasuke was really trying to kill me? I don't know, but I'll ask her myself later, Sakura said firmly, with a look that indicated that for once she wasn't going to listen with her fanatic filter on. After a moment, his face softened, and he looked at Naruto with what he could only assume was regret. I'm sorry I put you through all that, Naruto. Hey, don't blame yourself for this, he said. The mission didn't come from you, it was Beihan's orders. Besides, I would have brought it back even if you didn't ask me. Remember what Kakashi-sensei said about abandoning friends? Sakura nodded. Yeah, but I think Sasuke-kun needs a reminder. Anyway, regardless of what Sasuke was trying to do, when I get out of here, I'll make sure it doesn't happen again. Believe it. Sakura smiled and chuckled, comforted by his irritating phrase. Thank you, Naruto. Then he turned around. Where are you going? he asked. Sakura turned only half around, letting him see only half of her face. To remind him. Hospital corridor, Konoha. Moments later. After her training, Hinata was back with her favorite blonde. I'm sure he still doesn't know what to think about me. I need to help him, and I can do that by spending time with him and letting him get to know me better. Then maybe he likes it more than Sakura. Even if he still likes me, I will not part with him, no matter what. And speaking of the demon, Hinata saw Sakura walking down the hallway towards her, which made both of them stop and look at each other for an instant before approaching. Hi Hinata, let me guess, did you come for Naruto? Yeah, and are you here for Sasuke-san? Hinata asked with a visible frown. Sakura arched an eyebrow, as this was quite strange for Eris Yuga. Yes. She replied awkwardly, as if she wasn't sure she had said that, as she realized that something was definitely different about Hinata. I figured as much. I bet you haven't even thought about watching Naruto. Still, Hinata accused. Sakura frowned. Yes. Actually, I just talked to him. Ask him yourself if you don't believe me. Believe me, I will, Hinata said, just to see Sakura smile. What's funny to you? Nothing, really, but hearing you say, believe me, it reminded me. Much to Naruto. And I'm impressed that you finally show some courage by fighting for your man. Good for you, Hinata. Apparently, Sakura accepted and adapted very quickly to Hinata's personality change. Well, someone should let Naruto-kun know how important he is, Hinata added, trying to sound modest. Important in general or important to you? Sakura asked him curiously. And Hinata got a little worried. Even after her confession, there were things about her that hadn't changed. More like the last one, if I had to answer. I guess that means he finally confessed to you. Well, I'm happy for you. He said yes. Are you a couple already? Sakura asked, somewhat excited at the thought of a new couple being formed. And Hinata frowned. Why is that? Does it excite you to think that it will no longer come between you two? Sakura jerked back sharply, waving her hands nervously. What? No. Really, it didn't even cross my mind. Seriously, Hinata, I can't be happy for you. You never cared about it before. Why now? Sakura, after frantically stopping waving, put her hands on her hips. It may be hard for you to believe it, Yanta, but personally, I always hoped that you would have the courage to defend Naruto. And claim you're right. Seriously, I'm glad for you that you can do it now, and if he said yes, I'm even happier. This has nothing to do with me, like this. So I'm not doing it for me. Fine. Well, don't leave me in suspense. Did you really tell her that? What did he tell you? Sakura repeated. I told him everything, keeping nothing from me. And it felt good now that I finally did it. As for Naruto-kun, he's confused, but I was hoping he would be. So I didn't tell him that he had to give me an answer right away. It was probably the smartest thing you could have done, Sakura mused. In retrospect, maybe I should have done the same with Sasuke-kun. It's a pity that everyone was so competitive with him that it was difficult not to try to catch him first and immediately. Then he shrugged his shoulders. Well, I have to see him for something, so I won't separate you from your man, Hinata. Are you going to see Sasuke-san? Hinata asked, with an almost imperceptible frown. I think I'd like to go with you. Sakura didn't see it coming. Huh. Yes. But why? I have some things I want to tell you. Things Naruto-kun won't say. Considering how battered Naruto looked, and that Sasuke-kun is responsible, I can't blame her for defending her crush. The redhead told herself. Although this is a facet of Hinata that I had never seen. How do I know he's not going to try to hurt Sasuke-kun? I'll see if I can let you come with me, but if you can, understand that I won't hesitate to stop you if you try to hurt Sasuke-kun. Sakura said, thinking it was the best way to get his response. Hinata nodded, understanding, and the two girls headed to another section of the hospital. By the way, Hinata, if you don't mind me asking, what made you decide that now was the time to stand up for Naruto? She almost died this time, Hinata said, her tone sounding as if she was about to cry. Sakura put a hand on her shoulder to try and comfort her. It's okay, Hinata. No matter what happens, he's still alive, and now you have a chance to be with him. Believe me, you don't want to lose her when she arrives. He remembered the offer he made to Sasuke when he was leaving Konoha, And although he knew it was wrong when he offered it to him, it was an opportunity he couldn't pass up. For her, it was worth fighting for Sasuke, just like Naruto for Hinata. It wasn't his best idea, but even now he didn't regret having it. I won't do it. I've known for years that I need to do something, and since I graduated, I know it better. I guess I thought I had more time, and here I was wrong. Naruto-kun is strong, but not invincible. No more than me. I'm wishing I was brave enough to be with him, seeing that he needs someone now. Good for you, Sakura said. Nothing more was said until they reached the room, guarded by an ambo. Sakura pulled out a written pass and a photo ID to let them know she could enter. I'm afraid he can't come in, the ambo said, referring to Hinata. I will take responsibility for everything she does, Sakura said. The ambo didn't seem to know what to decide. Hurry up, he said after a moment, opening the door. Somewhere else. While Akura and Jimata were preparing to confront Sasuke, a group of mysterious figures were gathering in a secret room somewhere in Konoha to talk to another mysterious figure who was standing in front of them and talking to them. After giving a series of orders, the mysterious person finished his apparent report. You know your goal, you know your goal, you know what to do if some obstacle arises. Get to work and don't disappoint me, the figure said to the group of shadowy figures, who nodded in sign of understanding before disappearing. These people, even as they were heading towards their goal, were unaware of the chain events they would help trigger. To that of the prison, Konoha Hospital. In an isolated and heavily guarded room, with bars on the window, another patient was waking up. As he did so, he noticed one thing above all. Being awake was painful. Damn, it still hurts to stay awake, even after 3 days. Maybe Shikamaru is somewhat right after all, with his desire to always sleep. I give credit to the dobe. Somehow, he is a worthy rival for me, he said to himself, opening his eyes. And seeing walls painted gray all over, and a small latticed window, in one of them, that provided some light. But not a real view of the outside. Receiving my 2 best attacks would have killed even a normal Uchiha, but he still stood tall and defeated me. In fact, I hope he's still alive. It would be a shame to lose such a worthy challenge now. The patient was none other than Uchiha Sasuke, who was recovering from his injuries after defeating the last Uchiha, and preventing him from joining Orochimaru. As Sasuke was trying not to lose consciousness, he heard the door to his room open, and an all too familiar voice. Okay, you're awake. Sasuke looked to his left despite the neck pain. By the door stood Naruto Sakura, with her arms crossed, and Yuga and Nata, with their hands on their hips and their elbows out. Sakura seemed to be really disappointed in Sasuke, a rather strange expression on her. And Jimata seemed offended, and didn't even try to hide it. What do you want? Sasuke asked, his tone naturally apathetic. To begin with, you were locked up for a long time after I destroyed your chakra system. So that you can never be a child again, if you are born today. Sasuke blinked in surprise at this, for even the relatively misfit Uchiha knew enough about the Yuga heiress to know that she had a reputation for being as meek as a mouse. While Sasuke wasn't so worried about Hinata attacking him, Sakura thought very differently. Hinata, don't do anything that will get you in trouble, Sakura warned. The white-eyed girl nodded, and the red-haired one looked at the last Uchiha. Sasuke-kun, we have to make this visit short, so I'm just going to ask you a question. Is that okay with you? He nodded. Did you really try to kill Naruto when you saw him? Sasuke didn't respond right away, but when he did, he didn't hesitate. Yes, I did. How could you? What were you thinking about? Sakura asked. Sakura, you said you would only ask one question. That means there will be no more questions, Sasuke reminded her. Then I'll order a pair for her, Hinata interrupted. What were you thinking, Uchiha? You have never been deprived of anything in this village. Why did you suddenly decide that this place was no longer good enough for you? How could you be so selfish as to leave? And by the way, why did you want to kill Naruto-kun? What did he do to you? His questions caught Sasuke off guard, and to be honest, they made him feel like an asshole. Are you sure you want the answer? You're not gonna like it. Probably not, but I'm asking for the truth, not happiness, Hinata said. Sasuke looked at the ceiling. You can't understand it, no one can. My brother killed my entire clan. I need to kill him, no matter what. I need to do whatever it takes to make myself strong enough. At least that's what I was thinking at the time. And how does that justify killing Naruto-kun? Added Hinata. To begin with, he was trying to stop me from going to see Orochimaru. At that moment, I thought that going to see Orochimaru would be the best way to get the power I needed as soon as possible. And since Naruto was getting in my way, killing him, or at least it would allow me to move on unhindered. And there's another reason I tried to kill him, the reason I asked you if you were sure you wanted to know. Itachi has a Sharingan more powerful than mine, the Magiccio Sharingan. Any girl strong enough can acquire that power, but to do so requires doing something very dark. I tried to get it by killing Naruto, he replied, taking advantage of that moment to look at them. To get the Mangekyou, Anuchiya has to kill who she considers her best friend. Surely you can tie up ends. And Hinata and Sakura were speechless. For Hinata, the fact that he was willing to kill Naruto just to get over his own brother was horrendous. Just like if Neji had killed Inabi just to annoy her during his fated mindset. For Sakura, the idea of betraying her best friend for her own benefit hurt her. The scale between what he did with Hino and what Sasuke did to Naruto was different, but in principle it was the same. Still, neither Sakura nor Hino would have gotten as far as Sasuke tried to do, and Hinata clenched her fist. How? Getting a stronger view, killing your best friend. What kind of sick are you to even consider that? If you were me, at least you wouldn't consider it. He tried Sasuke. No. If the idea of killing your best friend for power doesn't break your heart, if it's a price worth paying for you, then you have no right to call that person a friend of any kind. Do you want to kill your brother? That's your business, not Naruto-kun's. You have no right to force him to shed blood for you in your quest for someone else's blood. Sasuke closed his eyes, remembering a previous conversation thanks to her. Maybe you're right. Someone told me that a couple of days ago. After listening to what they said, let's just say they did a good job doing. I question my decisions in life. Oh yeah. What did they say? Hinata asked, to which Sasuke sighed before answering. Well, you'd better sit down for this. You're going to need it with what I'm going to tell you, he warned. Flashback scene. 2 days earlier. On the first day after his return, Sasuke, who had woken up shortly after his forced return to Konoha, was raging in his hospital bed. Damn it, why am I so weak? It should be better than this, better than the dobe. How come I haven't progressed since the academy? Even the cursed mark of Orochimaru wasn't enough for me to beat that double. Are you comfortable, boy? An unknown voice asked. Confused, Sasuke looked towards the window, where he saw a man whom he had never seen sitting on the railing, as if he came from outside. You better, since you're not going anywhere for a while. Who the fuck are you? I'm Jiraiya, the only Sannin you probably don't know. Orochimaru and Tsunade weren't the only ones you knew. You and I met before, when you tried to kill your brother. By the way, an ingenious move, to fight against a renegade ninja of that rank who became Ambu at only 13 years old. It was a big mistake, kid. Excuse me. Sasuke replied. This bastard thinks I'm not good enough to kill Itachi. You heard me, big mistake. To begin with, your brother hardly paid attention to you. I was giving you the perfect opportunity to catch him off guard, and what did you do? You introduced yourself to the world and attacked him in the face. You didn't even try to be stealthy. Not to mention the fact that such an opportunity would have been of no use to you in the end. Shut up. I have to kill him, exclaimed the young Uchiha. And you had the perfect opportunity, which you ruined. Not me, not Naruto, you. You could have put him in his blind spot with a silent blow and liquidated him, but no, you stayed right where he could see you. Waited for him to recognize your presence and attacked with a movement. Powerful and brilliant, that was clearly easy for a Sharingan to predict and counter. Why is that? It's like you want me to kill you. Be glad he was there to protect you and Naruto before Itachi did more damage. What right did you have to stop me from getting even? Sasuke asked, feeling cheated because of that old man. You were outnumbered, and you were going to kill yourself. Did you want me to let them kill you? Jiraiya asked. What makes you think he would have died? Jiraiya rolled his eyes. Wow, I don't know. Maybe it had something to do with Itachi having the power to kill people, and not being afraid to use it. I think you, more than anyone, know how strong he is. Sasuke grimaced, unable to refute that. He showed you compassion once, but that doesn't mean he'll do it again. I don't know what you've been imagining Itachi to be, boy, but he's sure not going to give you a chance to kill him. You had the perfect opportunity, and you almost died because your vanity surpassed your objectivity. Anyway, unless you're here just to be critical, why are you here? Sasuke asked, not impressed with his visitor, just confused. I was just visiting, and wanted to tell you some things you need to hear before you make another big mistake. Like your failed escape to join Orochimaru? Are you crazy? Seriously, kid, what made you say? Is going to a rogue ninja to guide you a great idea? Shut up. I told you I have to kill Itachi. Why is that? You're not in any immediate danger. He's not waiting to come back and finish you off. Why the rush? He has to die. He killed my whole family. And they'll still be dead when you kill him. It doesn't matter if you kill him today, tomorrow, 10 years from now, or even never, they'll be as dead as yesterday, you know. Killing him will not bring them back, Jiraiya stated. Sasuke looked away. You couldn't understand it. How can you know what I've been through? No, but that's beside the point. If you listen to others, someone might understand you. The only reason no one understands you is because you don't let anyone else try, boy. It may surprise you, but you're not the only orphan in the world. Oh my god. Naruto should have only made you aware of that. Sasuke snorted, but it sounded empty. So what? The dobe would not be able to identify with me. He never had a family to begin with. As soon as he finished that sentence, Sasuke felt a surge in Jiraiya's chakra as the Sannin clenched his fist. This took him by surprise, because this guy was so offended by what he had just said. Deciding not to insist further, Sasuke decided to listen to what the Sannin was going to say, before saying anything that could end up causing his death. After calming down, Jiraiya already looked at him sternly. To be an Uchiha with a Sharingan, you act like you're blind. You can even see how hypocritical you are right now. Jiraiya asked. Sasuke then turned to the Toad. What? You're being a hypocrite. You keep talking about how much you've suffered, and how bad you're going through it, but as soon as someone tells you a sad story, you criticize everything. You act like you're the only person in the history of the world with a legitimate reason to be unhappy. And everyone else is just exaggerating. Sasuke had a brief memory of Inari in the wave, and for a moment he thought Jiraiya was comparing him to the crying boy. Before he remembered a certain conversation he had with Kakashi about Naruto. Well, if Naruto really has a hard time, show it. Why does she feel so bad? Jiraiya repositioned himself to get more comfortable. Where do I start? Well, since you mentioned your family, I'll talk about his. Naruto has never had any, neither a name, nor a face to call relative. All he has is a complete emptiness. Although you may dismiss it as something I should be grateful for, think about how you would feel if the family you want to avenge was a complete mystery to you. If you didn't know anything about your mother, or your father, or anyone else. Imagine if you didn't even know if they loved you, let alone if they loved you. You, boy, have memories, but Naruto can hardly dream. It's like the old saying goes, it's better to have loved and lost, than to have never loved. Guess which one applies to Naruto? For the first time, Sasuke thought about it. I've never considered Naruto's orphan status like that before. For him, not having a family meant he never had anything to lose. She had never considered that having only questions was worse than only memories, and, after listening to Jiraiya, she realized that maybe having nothing to lose was not the blessing in disguise that she believed. However, he never imagined what else Jiraiya would reveal about Naruto's life while the Sannin kept talking to him. Naruto had no family to call his own, and that's just the tip of the iceberg of what he had to go through. You may know the loneliness of not having a family to take him home with Sasuke, and I can understand how painful that can be. Jiraiya continued. But let's forget for a moment the origin of that loneliness and think more about the life it entails. Imagine for a moment that you had been alone not since the age of 7, but since the day you were born. Imagine that not only do you feel lonely at home, but you are also forced to feel lonely in the village. Imagine if people didn't care about your clan, your family, or you. Imagine if those people got to the point of thinking that you should have died like everyone else, and they didn't even tell you why. Imagine if the teachers at school refused to have anything to do with it, to see you and, instead of wanting you to do the best you could, they tried to get you to do the worst. Imagine if every child you know was told to avoid you, to treat you like a pest, and even when they had to interact with you, they did it in a way that only served not only to make you feel lonely, but also undesirable. Imagine if someone wanted you to leave so badly that you had to live your life with the constant threat of an angry villager, or a shinobi trying to kill you, and that this threat was present every day of your life. Imagine if this, all of this, was the only life you ever knew. Sasuke was silent, stunned at the situation. Even the last Uchiha retained some morality, and hearing that something like this was possible, almost turned his stomach. Imposing such a hellish life on a child, no matter who he was more than criminal, it was inhuman. Something that would probably infuriate even Sasuke. Now imagine if this happened to Naruto, Jiraiya said, unsuspecting. You'd still say he has nothing to be sorry about. Not surprisingly, Sasuke was considered a genius. I had to find out what Jiraiya was trying to tell her. You say all that happened to him. Yes, all that and much, much worse, and he had to live this life from day one. But if that's true, how can he act so happy and carefree, as if nothing at all? Sasuke asked, not understanding how someone living in squalor could resist sulking. Although Sasuke was not an expert on emotions, he believed that if one was in a bad mood, one should show it, not pretend otherwise. Because sulking won't change anything. In fact, sulking would only allow the Itachi of his life to win and destroy him, Jiraiya replied. Sasuke raised an eyebrow. Is there anyone in your life like Hitachi? You didn't think Naruto's family ever existed, did you? The Sannin asked him. Someone had to get rid of Naruto's entire family, leaving him with no one to take care of him. At that, Jiraiya paused, and Sasuke noticed what he could only guess was remorse. You know who he is, right? And you haven't told the dobe yet. Why is that? As things stand, there's no point in telling him. Naruto already knows, and he already knows that I know who he is too, Jiraiya told him. Really? Do you know who is responsible for your loneliness? And isn't he obsessed with getting even? Sasuke asked. No, because revenge will not solve the problem. Hurting the cause of their loneliness won't make that lonely feeling go away, just like killing your brother won't make your family come back. Naruto doesn't want revenge. He just wants friends, acceptance, bonds with other people, so he doesn't have to go on alone. Love is the only thing he wants. Revenge is the last thing on Naruto's mind. And even if he wanted revenge, the target in question is in a place where Naruto can never hurt him, so it would be a useless wish. Sasuke didn't like the way the wise toad expressed it. To him, it was obvious that Jiraiya was trying to avoid giving specific details. And why is that? Jiraiya stared at him. Do you really want to know? I asked you, didn't I? Okay, the reason is that the great cause of Naruto's misery and loneliness is within him. It can't hurt him any more than you could hurt a hat inside of you. Inside him. Sasuke repeated. What do you mean, something with a multiple personality? No, it's nothing like that, the Sannin said with a sigh. Understand that what I am going to tell you is confidential and cannot be repeated. When the Kyuubi attacked Konoha 13 years ago, the Yondaime couldn't get rid of him completely. So he had no choice but to seal him inside Naruto on the day of his birth. Naruto is basically a living cage for the fox. However, before he was locked up, the Kyuubi managed to kill his entire family when they sacrificed themselves to protect him. Sasuke forgot for a moment how to breathe. Does he have that monster in him? That would explain that chakra layer he used in our battle. It was a manifestation of the power of the fox. Remembering the story of the defeat of the Yondaime to the Kyuubi, Sasuke understood that Naruto had received this burden. After all, Naruto was a couple of months younger than him. And Sasuke had been told that he hadn't even been weaned when it happened that night. Naruto might as well have been holding the fox since his birth, which meant that Sasuke was starting to understand some important things. No doubt, Jiraiya's claim about Naruto's life had some validity, but it still didn't make much sense. Why would they do that to Naruto, and only to him? Did the village know of his connection to the fox? If not, what other reason would they have for mistreating Naruto? And if so, why would he be mistreated for that? Sasuke admitted that Naruto had never been his favorite person, but that was simply because Naruto annoyed him. He couldn't speak for others, but he was sure that the whole village couldn't use that as an excuse. How could a child annoy the whole village to the point of making his life impossible? Did the adults have nothing better to do than make him feel unwanted? No, the only conclusion that made sense to the Uchiha was that the older generation knew Naruto, they didn't like being their connection to the fox, and were trying to keep the younger generation uninformed, but force them to follow suit. Despicable. How can people treat someone like trash for something that's not even their fault? To think that the Dobe has had almost the entire village as an enemy since the day he was born. And she had to fight to keep her spirit intact after 13 years of social abandonment and the obvious occasional act of violence. He's definitely stronger than I thought. I thought I had a hard time, but compared to the Dobe, actually, I was lucky. I called Naruto naive when I left Konoha, but I guess it was me who didn't see the truth. Knowing this changes a lot. Right, kid? Jiraiya asked. Sasuke looked at him. I have to ask, if everything you said is true, why do people do it and get away with it? I mean, is the fox really his only motive? Do they not trust the Hokage? People tend to overreact when they are afraid. Exaggerate. Exaggerate. Sasuke repeated, offended by the use of that word in that context. That's not exaggerating. What Naruto had to go through, I can't think of a word to describe what I think. No one should have to live like this, and I can't believe what I'm saying, but that's a fate I wouldn't wish on even my own brother. Hirai already showed some surprise. Considering what you're saying about him, I'm honestly surprised. I'm not defending people, but you asked why they did what they did. The only way to get your answer is to try to understand how they think. That doesn't mean you have to agree or anything like that. You're getting off topic, old man, Sasuke warned. What exactly are people afraid of regarding Naruto? Even if the fox was as bad as they say, it makes no sense. Any idiot with at least one neuron could see that the fox is not controlling him. You're right. Any idiot can see it, unless they think it's the human-shaped fox, Jiraiya pointed out. In human form. So they believe that the Yondaime was not strong enough to kill the fox, but to transform it into a human. That doesn't even begin to explain why the fox wouldn't have tried to destroy Konoha in human form, Sasuke asked. And after all this time, and after everything Naruto has done, they still don't want to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm afraid not. The Hokage wanted people to treat Naruto like a hero, and sealed the fox in Naruto with that hope. Unfortunately, people were looking for a scapegoat, and found it in him. But despite all that, Naruto did not give up to despair, and decided to do something about it. So yeah, call him Dobe or whatever you want to call him, but don't ever say that Naruto doesn't know what it's like to suffer. Look, kid, before we get any further off topic, I should get this over with and get to the main point. The thing is, you made a big mistake trying to go to Orochimaru, and not only in legal terms. Trust me, kid, killing your brother won't mean anything if you get yourself, or others like Naruto, killed too. What makes you say that? Simply, hurting an innocent to kill Itachi would be no different than hurting Naruto to kill the Kyuubi. Sasuke understood the reasoning, but he was confused by another matter. What does that have to do with Orochimaru? Orochimaru went after your brother first. I wanted her eyes more than yours. The reason he decided on you is because he couldn't defeat Itachi. If you can, you are telling the snake that you are an even bigger threat than Itachi. By going with Orochimaru, you are putting yourself in his hands to get him to kill you when it is evident that you are stronger than him. And if he teaches you how to kill Itachi, he can also teach you in a way that guarantees you a weakness he can exploit. Believe me, kid, going with Orochimaru wouldn't have benefited you. Have you been to Itachi yet? Sasuke asked him, without realizing it. If he couldn't beat it, how could he help me? Damn, Naruto was right. I made a mistake by trusting Orochimaru to give me what I wanted. Just by my reasoning for going for Orochimaru, it was a bad idea from the beginning. That's not to mention why Naruto wanted to stop me. At that moment, however, there was one question that resonated strongly in Sasuke's mind. Why are you telling me all this? Sasuke asked. Why is that? Well, remember how you blamed the villagers for making an uninformed decision about Naruto. Here I was, trying to get the facts straight for you. I'm not going to tell you what to decide, but at least you'll make a smarter decision now. Although this helps, the reason I'm telling you this, it's for Naruto's sake more than anything. I know what Naruto was going through when he came to stop you because I tried, but I couldn't stop Orochimaru from leaving. I know what Naruto would have to go through if you did. And I don't want to see Naruto going through the pain of losing you like I lost my best friend. He has suffered enough in his life. That's the main reason I'm talking to you, and I'd like to think that way you're less likely to end up like Orochimaru. Oh, since we're like Itachi, I'll never be like Itachi, Sasuke insisted. Hirai no longer seemed convinced. Your brother broke all ties with this village and its inhabitants, including you, to pursue a selfish goal. To break the hearts of those he left behind. And now you're trying to break your ties with the villages, with their inhabitants, which almost hurts a lot of people who love you, Sasuke. So tell me, how is your relationship with Orochimaru different from what Itachi did to you? Keep that in mind before you try something like that again, Hiraya said before disappearing. That still doesn't tell me why he talked to me, she thought. Despite already being on a bed, Sasuke felt like he had just fainted after assimilating all that information, and yet, he still had a lot of questions left. What did he mean it could be like Hitachi? He murdered my whole family for fun. How can I do the same if my family is already dead? Unless he meant something similar in principle than in action. Maybe he was referring to Naruto, Sakura and the others. He closed his eyes and a memory assaulted him. Back at the wave, where Kakashi was talking to Inari after Naruto reprimanded him. Sasuke had been out for a walk, one of his few hobbies, when he passed by and heard something that caught his attention. Naruto has had a terrible life for as long as he can remember, but he decided to stop lamenting and make it better himself. One of the few things he hates is seeing people give up before they even try the same thing. I didn't think about it at the time. I assumed Kakashi-sensei was just saying it to convince the boy. But it makes sense now, Sasuke thought. A lifetime of being treated like a monster. And obviously he didn't know the reason for all that time. Who would look at a small child and say, "Are you the container of the monster that killed so many people? How the hell did he survive like this?" And while we're at it, why would he want to become a member of a village that made his life impossible? I mean, if, for example, Konoha forced Itachi to kill my clan, I know I wouldn't feel any loyalty towards this place. Or maybe he did it to get back those bonds he wanted so badly, like the one I tried to sever by trying to kill him. Maybe that's what that old man meant. Sasuke closed his eyes and started sleeping inside Sasuke's mind. Sasuke opened his eyes after a while, only to see a gray haze completely blocking his vision. Where am I? I see nothing, he thought, with only a gray haze before him. He started walking, but he didn't seem conscious. His steps sounded muffled, but it seemed as if he was walking on something soft and wet, on something hard. Suddenly, his right arm moved against his wool, as if he was hitting something. But screams were heard. "What's the matter?" he asked. At that moment, the haze began to dissipate. He saw that he was in his childhood home, when his family was still living. And in front of him were two corpses, identical to those of Uchiha Fugaku and Mikoto. What? No, not again, he thought, kneeling on the bloody floor. As he took a closer look, he gasped. It wasn't his parents who died. Naruto and Sakura. Killed by an obvious and fatal sword wound. In shock, Sasuke suddenly stood up and saw a mirror that had not been there before. But his reflection, it wasn't him, no, it was Hitachi's face, covered by a blood splatter, looking at him. While he returned the sound. Smile. Something Sasuke couldn't remember Itachi doing anymore. No, this can't be real, he thought, looking away from the mirror and discovering a bloody sword in his right hand. The sword was tilted to reflect his reflection as well, and it was still Itachi's face that was looking at him. No, he said to himself, dropping the sword and running out of the house. I'm not like Hitachi. She screamed as she left, only to see the horrific image of numerous bodies on the street, all looking the same as Naruto and Sakura. No. End of the flashback. When I finally woke up and realized that it had been a bad nightmare, and after thinking about the meaning of that dream, I finally understood what Naruto and that old man Jiraiya were trying to tell me. Sasuke took a drink of water, tired of talking so much. I told you you'd like to sit down. Sakura and Hinata were sitting down, as Sasuke didn't skimp on details, especially about Naruto being a Hinchiriki. Hinata seemed upset, but not as much as before, and Sakura seemed completely mortified. That can't be true. I mean, it has to be a lie. Why would I lie about that, Sakura? Sasuke asked. And Hinata closed his eyes. It's not a lie. So you knew that then? Sasuke asked. I can see chakra. I've always seen that Naruto-kun had an abnormal type for a human. It was easy to find out the cause when I learned more about him. But if you knew, what about Meiji? Sakura asked. I don't know, I never asked, and for most of my life, I never had a reason to. There was one time he wanted to kill me, remember? I wasn't going to give him a reason to hate Naruto-kun too. Sakura looked at the floor for a moment. Mom, Dad, that's why they told me to avoid it. Do you think Naruto is some kind of monster? What turned his stomach was the fact that he had never asked why they were saying that. As a child, she simply assumed that if her parents said it, it was true. They told him it was better to avoid it. He did and did not make friends, and he did it without hesitation, even getting close to an enemy. Even when his parents did not ask him to. Naruto, I'm so sorry. And now what, Yuki-san? Hinata asked. Does this change anything for you? The life of Naruto-kun really has value for you. Now. You say it like it never happened, Sasuke accused. Really? He pressed Hinata. You admitted that you were willing to kill him to improve your eyes. Be glad you didn't, or else it would make you personally blind. No need, Sasuke said before showing off his newly acquired Mangekyou Sharingan, which looked very much like the diagram of a red atom surrounded by the black of his pupil. Somehow, I got him without killing him. How? Hinata asked. Did you kill anyone else here? No. To be honest, I don't know how I got it. I didn't even know I had made it until a guard came in and pointed it out to me. Maybe that dream had something to do with it. Perhaps killing your best friend does not require such a literal act, but the firm conviction that you succeeded. Or maybe the guilt or the pain you felt made you wake him up, Sakura suggested. Sasuke shrugged his shoulders and sighed for a moment. Maybe you're right. Although now I'm not very proud of what I tried to do to get it. I fucked up, big time. I can't deny it. Well, at least you admit it, Hinata said. But that doesn't mean you've fallen back. I'm fine. Naruto-kun almost died because of you. An apology won't be enough for me. Why should I apologize to you? This does not affect you at all. Sasuke-san, Naruto-kun is more than just a companion. It's my heart. I can't live without him, just like you can't live with only half of your body. Killing him is a personal thing for him. Even if Naruto-kun can forgive you with a simple sorry, I won't. How can you hold a grudge when he doesn't? Sasuke asked. You must not understand women so well, Sasuke-kun. Sakura said, agreeing in principle. With Hinata. And I probably never will. Accept it. Understand that, Sasuke-san. If you threaten Naruto-kun again, I will make you regret it, Hinata warned. After all, you just admitted that you were feeling weak. I admit nothing. Besides, with my current state, what do you have to be afraid of? The last time you were in a hospital, the first thing you did on the way out was fight with Naruto-kun. Sakura nodded. You're right, Sasuke-kun, if you did. Yes, and I lost that time. Then I fought him a second time, and I ended up here because, luckily, I lost. I doubt the third time is the charm, even with my Mangekyou Sharingan, especially knowing what I know. He commented. Speaking of which, what's your stance on this, Sakura? Huh. And Nada looked at the red-haired one. Yes, what do you think about Naruto-kun now? Honestly, he's clearly stronger than I ever thought. And I don't mean physically, but emotionally, he said. Well, I've said everything I wanted to say, Hinata said, standing up. I'm going back to him now. What are you going to tell him? Sasuke asked. And Nada looked at him briefly, and then went back to the door. Just what he needs to hear. Then he opened the door, but before he could get out, a person's body flew by like a projectile. He was moving too fast to get a good look, mostly because it was something I didn't expect to see. What the hell was that? Sasuke asked, as he could see what happened from his bed. What was what? Sakura added, getting up, because she hadn't seen it, but she did hear a rumble. And Nada looked down the hall, and saw that at the end, to her left, was a raging Tsunade. Okage-sama. If you're looking for Naruto, you'd better get there fast. Before anyone else does, he warned. Needing nothing else, and Nada ran down the hallway to her beloved's room. Sakura stood by the door. What does this mean? It looks like someone is doing something to Naruto that he shouldn't, and the Okage didn't approve. If that person he sent flying is part of that, he's going to grind her into a fish cake. Sasuke guessed before making a suggestion to Sakura. I think you should go check on Naruto too. Are you sure? I'm not in danger, but Naruto might. Go away, he told her. She nodded. I'll be back, Sasuke-kun. He then ran to Naruto's room, while he was wondering what was happening to his blonde companion. Naruto's room, Konoha Hospital. Sometime before. While Asuke was attending to the visitors, Naruto received some. Hey, Erosanin, who did you bring? Hiraiya frowned, while his companions laughed or smiled when they heard the title. Tsunade, who was also there, did not react, as it was nothing new to her. Show some respect, kid. When you stop snooping, I'll consider it. The young blonde looked at the four redheads. This guy is a peeping Tom addict or something. He's going to snoop on the women's area of the hot springs all the time. Hearing this, Ray turned to look at Jiraiya with a frown. Hey man, if I ever find out that you spied on my sister, you're a very man. Dead. Do you understand? Hey, if I wanted to commit suicide, I would find a less painful way than doing that, Jiraiya stated. One guy tried it and got caught, and ended up in a coma for several months because of it. That woman's temper would have been deadlier than Suna's from the time he caught me. I didn't even consider investigating if she was around. Wait, the one time I caught you? Tsunade asked with a hiss. You mean there were times you spied on me and I didn't catch you? To be fair, Okayadono, if you didn't catch him, it's your fault, Kikyo claimed. While Tsunade was culminating with looking at Kikyo for that hit, Ray noticed that Naruto was still staring at him. Hey kid, is something wrong? Ray asked. Do you look familiar, have I seen you before? Naruto asked the man closest to Jiraiya. Yes, you have. You forgot me already, kid. Do you know? It just doesn't matter. My name is Ray, memorize it this time. Naruto, we are here to tell you something crucial, but rest assured that no decision will be made for you. Tsunade told the young blonde to reassure her. These four people here, this is going to be hard to explain, but they are distant relatives of yours. Needless to say, Naruto was surprised. Relatives? Naruto asked. But how is this possible? By the way they describe me, you would say that I just came out of the ground, like a plant instead of having parents. You are not a mushroom child, you are a being. To be human. And that means someone has to be related to you, Junio said. So, where have you been all this time? Naruto asked. First, let's introduce ourselves, Naruto. To answer your question well, we will have to explain some things to you first, Kikyo started. My name is Uzumaki Kikyo. If you've ever heard of me, it was probably because of my nickname on Shot Kikyo. I'm sorry, I've never heard of you before. Kikyo looked at Tsunade. The efforts this village has made to hide from Naruto continue to infuriate me. Be careful what you say to the guy in this conversation. To be fair, if you had gotten what you wanted when you wanted it, your village wouldn't have kept it out of this. Tsunade replied. Not out of loyalty, or Kayadono, Kikyo insisted. Excuse me. Tsunade asked. Konoha has kept Naruto in ignorance about his clan and our village. As far as we know, he barely understands the other villages, even though he knows them. For me, it's a solid argument against Konoha. It's a sign that this village tried to keep him in ignorance to make sure he would never think of leaving. How could I do it if I didn't know where to go? You talk a lot, but accept it. If Naruto had been in your village, you would have kept him ignorant of Konoha so that he would stay with you, Tsunade accused. We would have told her who her parents were, but other than that, what else would she be asked to know? Milla asked. What was demanded of him? Did you want to know about Ufujo? Oh, I don't know, maybe the fact that he had family there. Junio replied on behalf of Kikyo, albeit with sarcasm. Hearing from you wouldn't have changed a thing. Have you ever stopped to think that maybe not everything can turn out in favor of one person? Tsunade asked. You're the one to talk. After all, it wasn't Naruto who spent decades trying to find the answers to his problems at the bottom of a bottle. Excuse me, but why are you all here in my room if all you're going to do is talk about me instead of me? Naruto asked. Excuse me. Let's continue with the presentations. I'm Uzumaki Milla. I am Uzumaki Jun. And as I told you, I'm Uzumaki Rei. We come from the village of Uziagakure. Now that we have finished the presentations, I will get straight to the point and explain why we are here. Despite what they make you believe, Naruto, if you have a family. In fact, you come from a shinobi clan. But not from a clan originally from Konoha, Kikyo told him. Then it started. Why are you in Konoha? Finished Kikyo for him. Simple, your mother moved here as a child and fell in love with your father. Before you ask, yes, we know who your parents are and we will gladly tell you. Naruto, to make this easier for everyone, it would be better to keep any questions to yourself until we finish. All right. Milla asked politely and Naruto nodded. Thank you. Naruto, let me count. The story from the beginning, Kikyo said, and then cleared his throat. There is a hidden village that you don't know, Uziagakure, the hidden village in the whirlpool. It was founded just after Konoha by our clan, the Uzumaki. Our village was powerful, but at some point, our enemies united to destroy us. They almost made it. The key word is almost. We hid to let the danger pass. When it happened, we focused on rebuilding our village in secret, while trying to locate the members of our clan, who had been scattered around the world after his passing. Eventually, we heard about you and wanted to take you with us, but the Sandai Myokai insisted that letting you stay was the best way to honor your parents' wishes. We decided to let you stay, but we warned her that we would come back eventually to check on you. In our opinion, Konoha has been holding you back and is not the best environment for you, so we would like you to come with us. Naruto's eyes widened. Are you trying to take me away from my home and my friends? Tsunade smiled. Looks like we have the answer. Don't get your hopes up, he's jumping to conclusions, Kikyo told her, and then turned to the mustached blonde once more. Naruto, don't decide anything until we have nothing more to tell you. You want to take me away from my friends. I just need to hear that to say no, period. He stated firmly. Even if we could tell you who your parents are, Naruto looked at her. You mean you won't tell me unless I agree to go with you? That's really low, Tsunade complained. He's jumping to conclusions again. Naruto, I'll be glad to tell you who they are, whether you decide to come with us or not. I just ask you to at least listen to why it would be a good idea to come with us to Uzusio. Enough of I've already decided. Naruto leaned back and crossed his arms. Say what you want, but I've already decided. He's like his mother, too stubborn for his own good, Rei thought. Naruto, although I would love to take you back to Ufujo with us, it would be counterproductive to force you. So let me tell you why coming with us would benefit you, Kikyo began. Ufujo is a village made for the Uzumaki. We have the means to develop your potential. Konoha is better at helping clan ninjas or those with privileges, but they've denied you even though you deserve it more. Ufujo will not deny you anything, within reason, of course. This does not mean that we are bribing you, Milla added. But think about it, Konoha hasn't exactly tried to get you to reach your maximum power. Potential? How many fighting styles do you know? How many jutsus do you know that you didn't have to take them from anyone just to learn them, let alone to practice them? You may want the best for this village, but the feeling is mutual. There are some people who care about me, he said. And how many of them have taught you to be a better girl? How many have you not asked to teach you something? Milla added. Kakashi-sensei. Naruto replied. Boy, Kakashi knew who your father was. In fact, he was very close to him, Rei pointed out, receiving a shocked look from the blonde. Shaggy. One would think that he would care about you, since he appreciated your father so much, but tell me, did you even know who Kakashi was? Until he was assigned as your sensei. By the way, he was not put in charge of your team to help you, but to help your partner Uchiha. And what exactly has he taught you since he became your sensei? Does it seem to you that he is someone who cares about you? Well, if you knew about my parents, what about you? At least he was there for me, Naruto stated. Yeah, after you became a genin. Where was I when you were younger and lonely? June asked. Where were you when I was younger and you were lonely? Naruto asked, making Tsunade smile, and how she was turning their argument against him. He's right. You can't just throw the first stone here. Tsunade couldn't resist intervening. Konoha can't either, Kikyo declared. Naruto, as we told you, we had to hide to protect ourselves. We came for you, but we were asked to honor the Yondame's sacrifice for Konoha, allowing you to stay and become stronger. Now, if Konoha honored their sacrifice, wouldn't they be helping you become stronger? I have become stronger, he insisted. And how much of that can you attribute to Konoha rather than yourself? Kikyo asked. You learned the shadow clones, despite the fact that a teacher gave you the opportunity, not because of it. All your sensei seem to prioritize chakra control lessons, but they never have anything to do with it. To do with that. After all, walking on trees, walking on water and summoning, you were of little direct use in the Chunin exams. But that was all they taught you, wasn't it? He helped me during the invasion, he pointed out. True, but Konoha wasn't preparing you for the invasion. They should have prepared you for the Chunin exams, and yet you knew nothing but walking on trees and using shadow clones. Naruto, are you planning to spend the rest of your career outnumbering the enemy and crushing him unconscious? Being a ninja is not about repeating the same jutsu. And again, if you do it too much, someone will find a way around it. That's what I have the Rasengan for, the petite blonde replied smugly. Ah yes, an incomplete short-range jutsu that requires a lot of development time. And the luxury of a clone to create in your particular case, Kikyo said, indifferently. How would you use it against a long-range fighter like me? I would run to you and Greek. He started, but then Kikyo took out his bow and aimed it. Hey, put that away. You're in a hospital. Tsunade shouted. Kikyo put away his bow. Relax, Okago Dono, it was just to make something clear. Did you really think I would try to shoot him? He looked at Naruto. Before you could finish that sentence, I would have shot at least 20 arrows at you and killed you. With a clone right next to you, you'd have a hard time dodging it. And with your hands full creating a Rasengan, you wouldn't be able to defend yourself. With your limited arsenal, you wouldn't stand a chance against me. And don't fool yourself into thinking that just because they are young adults, they will pity you. They won't. They will kill you, and they will not be afraid or ashamed to be unjust. This is what being a kid is all about, kid. Your parents knew perfectly well, Ray mentioned. While we're at it, I can tell you now, Kikyo. She nodded. Yes. He deserves to know. Wait a minute. Jiraiya intervened. Are you saying you don't deserve to know? June asked. Not at all, but maybe it's not the right time, Jiraiya told them. How come he knows something bad now? His life is already in danger, even if his enemies don't know who he is, so your claim that you are safe is irrelevant. Kikyo proclaimed, and then looked at Naruto. Naruto, your father is Namikaze Minato, and your mother is Uzumaki Kushina. You are the son of the Yonda and Miokai and Princess of Utsusio. Naruto was wide-eyed and silent, while everyone was waiting for his reaction. Tsunade and Jiraiya were very worried, because it was very possible that she would lose trust in them, and why. It's Konoha's fault, for keeping it from him. Hey, I was going to tell her, Ray complained, but she got no response, and no apology. That's impossible. Surely someone would have told me that if it were true, Naruto said, still wearing an astonished expression. That's right, kid, Ray said, and then looked at Jiraiya. Go on, tell him. Be honest for once, best man. Jiraiya almost tripped over that last word. How did you know that? You're not the only one good at gathering information, old man. Wait, did you two know that? Naruto asked Jiraiya and Tsunade. I didn't know that until Jiraiya told me, Tsunade said, hoping to retain some credibility with the sideburny blonde. If he lost all confidence in her, he might seriously consider leaving Konoha. But they did know, Naruto said. They both knew it, and they never told me that.